Breaking free, it's Brown. He's off to the races at the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Highland Community College gets their first score of the season. Comes in a big fashion. Kevin Brown showcasing the hot feet.
You know what time it is. Scotty Nation, stand up and represent the Navy and Gold as it's time to let everyone know this is Highland Community College.
He's under pressure again, shakes it, goes over the middle, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted, picked off by Darius Johnson. Hand off here and swallowed up and at the line of scrimmage. Great play there, great penetration by Hill, and he was able to eat up the ball carrier.
From the players who work hard and never quit.
Kearns drops back, flings it down the middle, caught by Jamison. He breaks free. He's at the 40. He turns on the jet, down to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Ronnie Jamison.
The coaches who strategize and game plan.
When you take that field today, you've got to lay that heart on the line. From the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows.
And the fans who cheer.
And Walter gets the pressure. He's going to be right out and sacked in the backfield. Brought down by Lauren Young. Towards the end zone, Gray breaks it up at that time. Isaiah Gray with a great spectacular play. Down the middle, and it's caught. Touchdown! Scotties!
This is Highland Scotty football.
Welcome in for the regular season and final game of the year for Highland Community College football as we're live in Highland on the Scotty Sports Network today. And joining us is Rainbow Communications as well, rebroadcast for Rainbow Communications. Check out rainbowtel.net for the video on demand of the action here today. But it's going to be the season finale for Highland Community College, looking to cap this year, a year that has been filled with some injuries, unfortunately, and some misfortune as well. Just a few things not going the way of different games where have been close ball games too for the Scotties, but they've fallen to a 3-6 mark, and of course on the year as they prepare to try to finish off the season with their fourth win of the year. They take on Ellsworth, who has also struggled there this season under a second-year head coach. 3-7 are the Ellsworth Panthers taking on the Highland Community College Scotties. It is sophomore day as well. We'll have recognition of the sophomores in just a little while, and so we'll give you that in just a few moments as they will recognize all of the sophomores here today from Highland Community College football and the program in itself with athletic trainers and such as well too. But last meeting last year was Ellsworth, a 31-20 victory at Ellsworth, 21-14 game at the halftime, and a close ball game going into the fourth quarter, but Ellsworth would secure the victory with a solid 10-0 fourth quarter to gain the win. And we'll see a lot of different faces for Highland Community College today as a lot of injuries have piled up, unfortunately, for the Scotties, and some guys not being able to play because of that here in the course of the season. Been some changes at quarterback, and a lot of different things have led to the Scotties' struggles here this year, but they've had a lot of close ball games that unfortunately just been on the wrong side of the sticks for Highland, ultimately, with their outcomes from this year. So we'll look towards the action for Highland Community College as they get ready for today's showdown this afternoon, the season finale against Ellsworth. Should be a battle between two teams that are, eerily similar as far as the statistical categories go and how the seasons have played out for the two. As we get ready for the matchup, we'll have the sophomore recognition. We'll also hear from head coach Aaron Arnold in just a little while. I'll have my interview with Coach Arnold that I did earlier this week, talking about the regular season finale, and we'll of course give you that and get ready for first kick and kickoff of this action. Don't forget, you can check out ScottyAthletics.com. Keep up to date on all Scotty sports by checking out ScottyAthletics.com. One-stop shop there on the World Wide Web to get you covered for all of the athletic action and scene. It's a busy Saturday for Highland sports as the cross-country teams are in action. They are in action in Fort Dodge, Iowa at the National Championships. And the men's team that had already been running, we'll give you updates on that as soon as we can. And, of course, we will have updates on the women, too, who were getting in action just a little while ago for their race. The men's basketball team is tipping off this afternoon on the road, looking for win number 2 of the season. And the women's basketball team had a busy last couple of days with a couple of victories. You can find some recaps and scores and box scores and more at ScottyAthletics.com for that information. So we will slip in a little bit of a timeout, be back ready for the sophomore recognitions in just a bit as we get ready for that, actually, just about now. So I'll send it over to the PA announcements for the recognition of the sophomores here for Highland Community College.
Trey Barrett, son of Melissa Barrett. Tori Boone, son of Avonda Boone and James Boone. Kendrick Caddis, son of Janine Cullen, escorted by his sisters Lolita and Faylene and brothers Will and Audrey. Shay Crum, son of Tom and Joe Hamill, escorted by grandfather Tom Hamill and little brother Quentin Crum. Michael Davis Jr., son of Kenya Bryant Pompey and Michael Davis Sr. Stephen Delaney, son of Sonia Warren. Casey Fay, son of Francis and Margaret Fay. Amadou Fofana, son of Sadou Fofana. Isaiah Gray, brother of Coach Maurice Gray. Mose Hall, son of Tisa England. Jeremiah Hill, son of Nola Doherty and Zara Hill, escorted by Mr. Rick Blevins. Ronnie Jameson, son of Rosa White. Javon Jones, son of Tiffany Harris and Casper Jones. Willie Jordan, escorted by Coach Corey Vaught. Kyle Kearns, son of Mark and Marianne Kearns. Tariq Parkins, son of Truellen Powell. Hunter Port, son of Rennie and Connie Port. Will Solomon, son of Craig and Lisa Solomon. Tristan Spear, son of Frank and Julie Spear. Cody Summers, son of Randy and Tiffany Summers. And Dominique Williams, son of Debbie Edwards. Now for our athletic training. Anthony Foster, son of Connie and Richard Foster. Savannah Claire Morgan, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William H. Morgan III, escorted by Kelly Twombly. And Jazzy Peterson, daughter of Phyllis and Stephen Peterson. Thank you, sophomores, for your commitment to Highland Community College. Let's put our hands together for all of our sophomores and their parents. Thank you very much.
Back on the Scotty Sports Network and chatting now with Highland Community College football head coach Aaron Arnold. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us here before the season finale for you and the guys against Ellsworth. We'll talk about that matchup in just a little bit. Of course, now just 3-6 on the season, and you're hoping to obviously finish off the season with a victory against Ellsworth. And you've had to battle injuries, battle a lot of close ball games that just didn't go your way this season. But when you look back over the course of the year, what stands out to you the most about how this season has unfolded so far this season for you?
Oh, I mean, it's been a pretty frustrating year. This will be the first year since our first year here that we'll have a losing season. We've been able to avoid that for the last 4 seasons straight, but the injury bug kind of caught up to us this year. But no, at the end of the deal, there's you don't get to make excuses. I tell our guys that all the time. You either win the games or you lose the games, and we just lost too many games this year. We played in too many close games. And I saw a great quote the other day that says, great teams don't win close games, great teams avoid having to play in close games. And Tad, I don't know, maybe 4 games this year that were, last-second score, overtime type of games, and we only won one of those. And when you do that, it puts your season in a bad spot.
Obviously, changing quarterbacks over the course of the year, that adding a different dynamic and some things for the season and how it's played out. But you look at this matchup against Ellsworth, and obviously you want to finish the season strong with a victory for not only the sophomores that'll be leaving the program, but for a spearhead into next year as well. And what's the big point of emphasis as you look at this matchup against Ellsworth that you're kind of reiterating to the guys here?
Well, we want to win the game, but we want to win every game, and we don't. For us, it's more about the process of winning than it is the result. And so when I talk to these guys this week, just like any other week, the goal for the week is to go get better and to go play football as hard as we can possibly play. We talk all the time about how it doesn't matter what the score says, it doesn't matter what your record is. I should be able to put on your film, and I should not be able to tell whether you're playing in a 3-6 ball game or whether you're playing in the Super Bowl. If you love football, you play hard. And, our mission for the week is to go out and play really hard. We're going to play this game with, I think, close to a dozen starters that won't be able to participate, and that's obviously challenging, but we don't care. We're going to go put our guys out there and give them an opportunity to go compete and fight, and hopefully we are able to get a win. Final
game for a lot of these sophomore guys for you. They've been around the program for quite some time and played significant roles. A lot of them have, and I just wanted to ask you, what those guys have meant to you as a coach and to the program as well.
That's a special group of guys, and I think probably one of the most frustrating parts for me about this season is just how much I wanted it to be better for them, because some of these guys have given on this program so much. They've been here, a lot of them have been here with us now for 3 years. We got a lot of guys in that sophomore class that redshirted, and they've they're part of our family. They've been here really committing themselves to this program, and it's sad that we didn't get to send them out the way that we would have hoped to. I appreciate that class so much. They've handled this season so well, and while it has been frustrating and, a lot of junior colleges at this point in the season are falling apart, our sophomores have really helped keep this team together, and we still have a good culture, and they're still doing a great job being leaders for us and playing hard. And I hope that they're able to get the opportunity to move on and continue to play this game after they're done here with Highland. I know a lot of them are going to have that opportunity, and excited for them to play a couple more years at the next level.
In the same sense, I know you mentioned a lot of guys that won't have the opportunity to play in this final game, but it's leading an opportunity to a lot of younger guys playing here this year and getting some opportunities to make headway for next season and gain experience and to build upon that. And I'm sure that that's a promising thing to see those guys be able to get some game action for next year.
Yeah, when you get to the point where you're 3-6 on the year, which fortunately we haven't been there very often, but if there is a silver lining, it's certainly that our freshmen are getting a lot of opportunity to play that they might not have otherwise. A lot of freshman O-linemen have gotten to play in the last 2 weeks with some bumps and some bruises. Freshman running backs, both of our sophomore running backs, our 1 and our 2 running back are out, so both of our freshman running backs are getting a lot of carries. Freshman wide receivers are getting to play a lot. Narcus Driver got to come in and play a lot of quarterback, where he'd been playing tight end. And then in the secondary, everyone that's starting is a freshman over there. And we try to avoid starting freshmen. We want to play our sophomores because they're older and they have more experience. But these freshmen are getting some great experience, and it'll definitely pay dividends for us next year that all these freshmen got to play in so many games against good football teams.
Coach, best of luck in the season finale against Ellsworth to you and the guys. It's been a pleasure chatting Highland Community College football with you over the course of the season. Hopefully you and the guys can finish off the season with that W against Ellsworth.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Highland Community College football head coach Aaron Arnold joining us here on the Scotty Sports Network for our pregame. We'll continue on with our pregame here on the Scotty Sports Network as Highland takes on Ellsworth in the regular season finale. Our pregame continues in just a moment.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Highland's new Precision Agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a four-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Just moments away from kickoff here for the season finale for Highland Community College football. They welcome Ellsworth to town. Both teams looking for win number 4 to wrap up their respective seasons. As Highland Community College, of course, having a fair share of struggles this year. But Scotty's looking to cap off this season on Sophomore Day. Sophomores honored. Hopefully you caught that earlier on. We'll talk about the sophomores over the course of the matchup as well and give them more recognition for their contributions to Highland Community College. And best of luck to all the sophomores, whether it be from the football team, athletic training staff, or whatever. Best of luck to all of them moving forward in their capacities for schooling or whatever it may be that they pursue moving forward. Diving into this ball game, we see that Ellsworth is coming off of 5 consecutive losses, while Highland, of course, falling in the last game against Coffeyville, but they ultimately picked up an overtime victory against Fort Scott in that showdown, and were ultimately able to get that at home in overtime. Highland is 5-3 all-time against Ellsworth. Scotty's last win against the Panthers was 55-52 at Highland just a couple of years ago. Played the last 3 years, have the two teams, but the last meeting before that was 1995. Scotty's had won 5 in a row before last year's loss to Ellsworth, 31-20. Mike Smith, of course, alongside with you here on the Scotty Sports Network, streaming worldwide on the web as ScottyAthletics.com. You can find the link, or just go to YouTube. Scotty Sports Network will have coverage of all of Highland Community College home games and some road games and contests as well, as we bring you Scotty Sports Talk to chronicle all the latest in Highland Community College sports on a bi-weekly basis. We'll have another one coming up in coming weeks, but you can find the previous episodes of Scotty Sports Talk on the Scotty Sports Network. Basketball seasons are underway. Cross-country season wrapping up today. The volleyball season was a spectacular one for the Lady Scotties. That was a strong year, 31 victories on the season. You can find recaps and much more on the results of all of that, all at your fingertips at ScottyAthletics.com. Just about to have the coin toss for today's showdown, as we're just about minutes away from today's kickoff. Both teams are averaging just over 20 points per game, but it's the defenses that are different, as Ellsworth giving up around 29 points per game. Highland's defense is only giving up 19.1 points per game, and Scotty's defense has been stout all year, despite the secondary obviously being reworked the last couple of weeks because of injuries and such. The Scotty's defense has still been pretty solid overall. They've gotten a few more points over the past few weeks, but still ranking the top 20 in the nation in several categories. And this defense for the Scotties this year is going to go down in the record books as one of the best, perhaps, as they lead the Jayhawk Conference, or second in the Jayhawk Conference, in just about every significant defensive statistical category. Rush yards, pass yards, total yards per game, and points per game. Not far off of being top-ranked team in the Jayhawk Conference in the defensive capacity. It's been the offensive struggles that have hurt Highland thus far this year. They switched up and have 3 different guys start at quarterback at one juncture over the course of the season. More recently, it's been Narcus Driver at quarterback, and it's been a run-centric offense for the Scotties. They're running for nearly 200 yards per game now on the season, but they're going to be running without their 2 primary running backs that they started this year with, and Kevin Brown and Willie Jordan, both out for today. Brown goes out early on in the season as well, and of course you're not going to have a couple of other guys at your disposal, and a playmaker like Ronnie Jameson not playing today too on the offensive side of the ball, leading pass catcher, but have went away from the passing game over the course of the season. Just about ready to have the coin toss let to go in this one, but Highland looking to cap the season in a strong fashion with a victory to help them build for next year. A lot of freshmen are going to be playing and seeing action today, as they have over the past few weeks because of several injuries. And then you could be, pick any unit you want on each side of the ball. You're going to see some faces that perhaps you haven't seen much over the course of the year, and more opportunities for them to get better and grow as a player moving forward. For some of these sophomores that are going to be the final time that they put the Scotty uniform on, they want to finish off their season and careers for Highland Community College in strong fashion and look for a victory in the process. Highland's going to defer, and so Ellsworth will receive the opening kickoff for today's matchup. Just about ready to roll in this one, and, well, it should be an interesting one between these two. Who wants it more? That's really the question to finish off the season between these two squads, looking for win number 4 of the season. Highland Community College, 4th victory of the season at stake for themselves here today as they host Ellsworth. Highland will go left to right across your screen today. White pants, navy tops with the gold numerals on the jerseys. The navy domes with the yellow stripe down the middle and the yellow H donned on the helmet. Ellsworth in the purple pants, white tops, purple numerals, a little purple trim around the jerseys with black as well. Purple domes as well with the white logo of the Panther on top. Adds a little maybe gray to it as well on that logo on top for the domes of Ellsworth. Just about ready to send it end over end and get this one in motion. It'll be the punter, Lane Spiker, sending it off the kickoff duties. Lane will kick it away to Ellsworth with 2 men deep in this one. Trace Fiese back deep to field this, and he will take it around the 14-yard line. Trace will spin his way ahead up past the 25. Fezia going to jump down around the 29, 27-yard line. Justin Ruiz bringing him down on the tackle. So the defense will hunker in for Highland early on in this one as they set up shop on the defensive capacity. Linebacking core led by Kendrick Caddis and Jeremiah Hill, along with Rico Hanna, have been spectacular. And head coach Aaron Arnold told me earlier this year, perhaps one of the best linebacking core, if not the best, in Highland history. Jeremiah Hill, second all-time at Highland in tackles now. He'd have to have a monumentous day to surpass Brandon King, who's all-time leading tackler here in Highland history. They fake it. They're going to throw this pass, and it's going to be a quick pass across the middle and complete. And that one hauled in that time. Ben Rooney tracks down the pass from the quarterback for Ellsworth. Jake Schumann actually getting the start. It's Jake Schumann out there as the starter, as Parrish Chambers listed as a starting guy that I got the nod with my preparation earlier this week. Split it out, twin receivers to each side, one lone back in the backfield. Right to left across your screen for Ellsworth as they threw that one in the air early on. Stutter step move and stays alive, gets away from would-be tackle, stiff arm, and lunges forward. Holding on for dear life to wrap him up and bring him down. Javon Jones comes up and gets the tackle, but it's after a solid gain from the running back, Robertson. Kendrick Robertson leads the way on the ground, over 140 carries with 720 yards amassed during that time frame for Ellsworth on the season. Second down and about 7. Pass out to the flat. Rooney tracks that down, and he'll go out of bounds after just about a 1 to 2 yard gain. Pushed out of bounds that time from the Scotties on the far side. Marion Williams kind of guiding him out of play. But minimal 2 yard gain by Ben Rooney, who's the leading pass catcher for Ellsworth. They'll spread it out a lot more. They'll line up with 4 guys split out a lot of times, and just the one lone back, and Robertson back in the backfield. Go in that shotgun again. Stack receivers on each side. Third down play, 3rd and 4. Schumann goes back to the line, checks the defensive alignment for Highland. Gives his offensive lineman an opportunity, and then a quick whistle. And a timeout by Ellsworth. So Ellsworth going to call an early timeout. Saw something they didn't like from the far sideline. And early timeout by the Panthers as they connect with a couple of nice pass plays on this opening drive to Ben Rooney. Throwing the run by Roberson, and ultimately Kendrick getting that tote. Kendrick Roberson, Winter Haven, Florida guy. That's 720 yards rushing, 5 yards per carry for him. Ben Rooney over 620 yards receiving on this season. Jake Schumann starting again at quarterback today, but Paris Chambers has been the guy that has been the primary quarterback of the season. Chambers had nearly 2,000 yards passing. Schumann has only attempted 41 passes entering today's affair. Highland looking to finish this off, force a 4th down, ball on the 49. 3rd down, and about 4 yards. Schumann goes in the shotgun. The running back to his left hip pocket. Twin receivers split out to each side. He'll fake the handoff to Roberson, and rolling out. He's flushed out of the air, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down in the backfield. Nice job by the quarterback. Sacked that time by Rico Hanna. Rico Hanna now with 5.5 sacks on the season. That forces a loss on the play, and ultimately now we'll be punting it from 4th down situation from the 39-yard line. Will Ellsworth. Rico Hanna's 5th sack of the season. 5.5 sacks total on the year for Rico. And a huge quarterback sack forces the 4th down. And Highland will get the ball offensively for the first time. Rico Hanna with the quarterback sack. And they're going to pass this one, the wide open situation. They fake the punt, pass it, and they're going to get the first down. Relative easily getting that first down as well. And track down that into the hands of Trace Fezia. Fezia, the defensive back, comes out, and they throw out a little trickeration. And Ellsworth's going to get the first down after the fake punt. And Iowa not prepared for that as the Scotties back on their heels again, now back on defense. So 1st and 10 now with 12:23 left to play in the first. Highland yet to touch it offensively. Ellsworth will get back in the offensive set it up in the shotgun with twin receivers split out to each side. Drop back to pass. I'll roll down to the near side. Just tucks and runs, and he takes a big lick that time. Nice job by Kendrick Caddis to knock down the quarterback, Jake Schumann, for minimal gain. Actually, may just get back to the original line of scrimmage, it looks like, so no gain as Caddis comes in. Caddis, a strong performance this year, 65 tackles, which actually partnered with his performance last year, makes him 8th all-time in Highland history in total tackles. 2nd and 10 after the no gain. They go with an empty backfield. Trips over to the far side, twins to the near side, man in motion. Comes from the middle of the other far side, and then they'll jet play and wrapped up and wrestled down in the backfield. Great play that time by Amadou Fofana. And Fofana has been strong of the defensive line all year. Fofana, one of the sophomores honored earlier today, ranked 10th in the Jayhawk Conference in tackles for loss. And that is a tackle for loss as well of about 4 yards. So 3rd and 14. Ellsworth in the shotgun. One lone back in the backfield. They motion him out, come to the near side. And empty backfield, slinging this pass up, and it's going to be intercepted. Picked off that time, hauled in and into the waiting hands. Nice play, heads-up play by Jonathan Thompson. Thompson picks it off. Would have been incomplete either way. There was nobody in the vicinity for Ellsworth as Thompson picks that off, and the first turnover of the game happens as Highland stymies Ellsworth despite, of course, forcing a 4th down and seeing a fake punt happen, keeping Ellsworth drive alive momentarily, but it ends before a visit to the red zone. And Highland's offense will take over after the turnover by Ellsworth. Scotty set up shop inside their own 20-yard line. Handoff here, bouncing out. That time it's D.D. Hall, and Hall's got open space at the 40, now to midfield to the 50, and over to the other side. He's got the green space, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds by one man that he only had left to beat, and he was able to get a huge 51-yard gain. Elijah Jones bringing him down. Tristan Spear getting the start at quarterback today. Troy, Kansas product. But D.D. Hall busts off a huge run of 50-plus yards in this one. And to open up things offensively, they go to the ground attack early. And, man, it was a big one. Officially 62 yards, on the run. 62-yard run for D.D. And bad snap. It didn't even ever make it to the quarterback. Heads-up play by Highland to pounce on top of it as fullback Stephen Delane was able to get to that. But bad snap. There's been some changes on the offensive line. Otori Boone, Tariq Parkings, of course, injured and out a few weeks ago. So leading to some different guys getting the start here on the line, including at center, Marysville, Kansas product Greg Martin getting the start today. Spear in the shotgun. One lone back in the backfield to his left. That's D.D. Hall. Twin receivers split out to each side. Spear reels back, fires, goes to the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Scotties. That is hauled in for Highland Community College. Tristan Spear hauling that one in to Shaquem Bradley. Shaquem Bradley coming up big and catching his first touchdown of the season. Only his 3rd reception of the year. Big connection of 20 yards, and it's a touchdown.
Into attempt the extra point, number 38, Will Solomon.
Will Solomon into put the extra point through the uprights. 16 of 18 on the PAT tries for Solomon here this year, who transferred into the program. 10 of 20 from field goals. Started the year exceptionally well from the field goal capacity, but struggled as of late. PAT is up and good. 9:41 remaining in this first quarter, and Highland's first on the board. Coming off the turnover as well, they come up with a big play of 62-yard run by D.D. Hall, and then it's a 20-yard touchdown pass. 20-yard TD pass from sophomore Tristan Spear. He connects with Bradley. And the PAT after that makes it a 7-0 ball game here in Highland as the Scotties are on top. First score of the ball game. First offensive set as well for the Scotties here today. And they take the early lead. Just the 10th passing touchdown of the season for Highland. Of course, they're averaging under 100 yards passing this year. Steered clear of the passing game, as of late, but they go to the air that time around, and really they ran only 3 plays offensively on that set, but really only ran 2 because one was a bad snap, no gain. Team recovered that bad snap for Highland and then connected on the 20-yard touchdown pass. Lane Spiker sends this end over end off to the right-hand side, far side. Almost went out of bounds and now will dance his ways to stay inbounds. Trying to get some positive gain. Rico Hanna is going to ride the ball carrier down until he gets around the 20-yard line. And Fezia was the returner again to up around the 29 is where Ellsworth will start with their second offensive possession. So after the turnover, Highland gets the first score of the ball game. But again, Ellsworth tried that fake punt. They accomplished that feat to keep the drive alive. And Highland, though, did stymie them a little bit on the first drive. They did get a few first down with some solid pass gains. They go twin backs on each hip side of the quarterback. Schumann, who motions one out to the near side now, so make it trips to the near side off the motion. Pass out into the flat over to the far side for Roberson, and Roberson will scamper his way out of bounds. Wet, rainy day here in Highland as well. Drizzle started before kickoff. Of course, cold day too. Maybe not as cold as last night's football action in the listening area, but 44 degrees that is. Rainfall going to happen for a little while now, but 11-mile-an-hour wind out of the south-southeast. Twin receivers split out to each side. Schumann motions with the play. Fake the handoff, play action pass. It's going to be Rooney on a slant pattern down the middle again. He's going to be wrestled down once more from behind. Had to track him in as Javon Jones brings in Rooney. He's a small guy, but he's able to be pretty shifty. 5'9", 165. Ben Rooney coming across midfield yet again. They've connected with him a couple different junctures. Look, he had a helmet issue, so he sprinted off the field for the moment. Twins to the far side, back into the shotgun formation. They'll go dual backs in the backfield. Roberson off to the left hip pocket of Schumann. Two-step drop, Relly slings that over to the far side, shakes and bakes, one back to her, and now he gets up to the second level and going to be upended. Brought down, though, after he gets the first down. Jonathan Thompson bringing him down, but tracked down on that pass play by Drew Grinhaw, excuse me. Grinhaw hold it in and was able to get the first down. Ellsworth moving the ball with some short passes and just getting open in space. I'll go Twins again to the near side. Roberson in the backfield with Schumann. 1st and 10, pump fake there, and it's tipped around. Good pressure in the quarterback's face. Jamal Winter was right on top of Schumann and kind of had to throw through Winter's hands, and then it caroms off the would-be pass catcher and an incomplete pass. Brings up 2nd and 10. 8:08 left to play in the first quarter. 7-0 Highland on top. Only 3 offensive plays needed to get on the scoreboard, including a 62-yard run by D.D. Hall, but it was a 20-yard connection for the touchdown pass from Tristan Spear to Shaquem Bradley. Roberson to the left side, stays back. Now it's going to be a quarterback run. Design keeper that time. Gets some space, gets into the third level and the first down as well. Garnered with it too. Jake Schumann with the run. Only 28 carries entering today, but pinballs his way down for another first down. And the chain mover goes inside the red zone at the 18-yard line. Highland's defense has been stout all year, but right now Ellsworth moving the ball. They moved the ball pretty good over the course of the year, 400 yards plus on the season per contest. They do pass the ball more regularly than running, but they can run the ball effectively. 179-yard rushing per game, 223 on the aerial attack by Ellsworth this season per contest. They won 3 of the first 5 games of the season, but have lost 5 in a row so far entering here the season finale. So it unfortunately went south quick after some close losses for them. They lost to Fort Scott just by 2, lost by 6 to Independence. We're competitive against Hutchinson and Iowa Western as well in the final scores. Highland, of course, as we've chronicled, had a lot of competitive ball games and a lot of single-digit ball games that unfortunately did not go their way. Lost to Garden City in week 2 of the season at home, 27-23. A tough 2 overtime loss to Hutchinson on the road by 3 in a double overtime, as I said. Lost to Butler and Independence the next 2 weeks, 6-2 and 9-6. Those scores, and made things interesting against Iowa Western. They best they could on the road, but could not accomplish a victory there. Did beat Fort Scott in OT here at home, but lost to Coffeyville last week, 27-10. Schumann goes back in the shotgun formation. DeKendrick Roberson gets the handoff. That'll scatter around through the line, bounces his way for a positive gain, and inside the 15 down to the 14. So Roberson getting down to the 14-yard line. Gain of about 4, 2nd and 6. As Ellsworth have battled their fair share of woes throughout the course of the season, as has Highland. Schumann will get the call from the far sideline. New back in the backfield is Doc Combs. Twin receivers split out to each side. 2nd and 6. They call for the man to go in motion in Greenhaw and fake the handoff to Combs, rolling outside and pushed out of bounds. Nothing to do in there for Schumann. Looked like he was trying to pass that, but rode out of bounds that time, and a good play to keep that from going to anything. Ja'Cory Reeves, I believe, the guy in on that.
Makes it 3rd and 7 for the Panthers.
3rd and 7 after a 1-yard loss. Savion Johnson will come back in and line up, it looks like, in the slot, as they'll go 3 receivers split out to the near side. One back in the backfield. I'll motion him out to the near side as well. Empty backfield, quick pass there that time. Good breakup. That pass, Malik Thornton was the intended target, but broken up. Damarian Williams. Damarian Williams brings up 4th down for Ellsworth. Question is, you want points, but the offense is going to stay on the field. Sprinting in is Darius Johnson. Johnson coming in at the safety spot. Johnson's had a solid year as a freshman from Georgia. Tied for 2nd in the Jayhawk Conference in interceptions with 4. He's roaming in the free safety spot. Pass out of the flat, and it goes over the head about 3 yards, the intended target, and an incomplete pass, Ben Rooney. So turnover on downs. Highland bends a little on defense, but doesn't break and gets the ball back. Ball be on the 15-yard line approximately. That's where the Scotties start off on their 2nd offensive drive. Highland's offense has sputtered throughout the course of the year. As I mentioned, not being able to consistently move the ball, and you could make, different reasons for how things have unfolded in that capacity. Tristan Spear back out at quarterback. Could see Narcus Driver, but he had strep throat earlier this week, so I was unsure if he would be playing today. But Tristan getting back to the fold and starting at quarterback here today. Here's the little pitch coming up with an open look. Trey Willis turns it up the field and trying to get some offensive production out of the wide receiver spot. Trey Willis on a little designed run. And Willis busts off about 6 yards on 1st down. 2nd and 4 after the 6-yard gain from Willis. Willis has had 13 carries now, or 14 carries with that last run, but 13 entering today with around 80 yards. Twin receivers split out to the near side, loaned back to the right of the hip pocket of Spear. He fakes the handoff, passes it out to Willis in the flat. Trey hit on the hip, but out of bounds after he gets close to the 1st down. Gain of about 2 to 3 yards. So 3rd and short, 3rd and 1 after the pass complete from Spear. So looking to get to the short pass game, which is kind of a glorifying run in that sense. But Scotty's moving the ball for a touchdown earlier on. 20-yard touchdown pass from Tristan Spear to Bradley. Spear in the shotgun, one lone back with him again. Twin receivers to the near side. Willis goes in motion. They fake the handoff him on the sweep. It's Hall, and Hall gets some space. He's up to the 3rd level. Now gets away from an ankle tackle. Still alive with a stiff arm past midfield, carrying 3 defenders. Dede continues. Oh, the ball's loose. Ball pops loose, and it's going to be fumbled out of bounds. Fumbled out of bounds. Holden will hold serve with the ball as Dede Hall carried 3 guys with him, and Dede Hall carried 3 guys, but 1 guy stripped it away, and Hall was able to churn out a huge run, and luckily for the Scotties, they keep the ball in their hands.
35-yard line.
So 1st and 10 from the 35 for Highland. 5:10 to play in the 1st quarter of action. 41-yard run by Dede Hall, so he's already got over 100 yards rushing on just a few minimal carries. Bounce pass here, bounce it off out of tackle, and that one be up to the 20-yard line. Still alive. Nice time by Justin Ruiz. He's going to tightrope walk the far sideline, and touchdown, Scotties! Justin Ruiz tightrope walks the far sideline for the final 4 or 5 yards and is able to scamper into the end zone. And Scotties get a big touchdown run from Justin Ruiz, and gouging the defense of Ellsworth with the rushing attack is Highland. I'll go for the PAT, point after from Will Solomon to put through the uprights.
35-38, Will Solomon.
Solomon looking to make it a 14-0 ball game with 4:51 left to play here in the first. Snap good. Sullivan kicks this one up through and in. And 14-0. Highland on top here in this one. Scotties lead this one on the Scotty Sports Network as they're up 14-0 and lead Ellsworth in the season finale.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a four-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
2 offensive possessions and 2 touchdowns for Highland Community College as they're on top 14-0 here in the first quarter of action. Live on the campus of Highland Community College today, Mike Smith alongside with you here on the Scotty Sports Network and Rainbow Communications rebroadcast as well. The kick on the kickoff field at around the 15. That one by Ben Rooney, who's showed elusiveness already today and brought up back towards the 29-yard line. Basically is where Ellsworth has started every time they've had the ball thus far in this showdown. 7 plays, that's all that Highland has ran offensively here today, but that's all they've needed to be able to score twice as they've run 169 total yards on those 7 plays, 137 of those yards on the ground, and D.D. Hall has amassed a majority of that on a couple of carries for himself here this evening. 2 carries, 103 yards for D.D. Hall. Justin Ruiz with 35 yards rushing off the touchdown moments ago. And they'll hand it off and going nowhere. The ball carrier that time. Defensive line swallowing him up pretty quick. And that was Roberson again. Multiple guys in on the tackle. Jakeem Green leading that one and at the forefront up front. Green has had a solid defensive year up front as well. 46 tackles, a half sack, and 7.5 tackles for loss. Schumann in the shotgun calls for the man to go in motion. Wide receiver who lined up in the slot back spot in Greenhaw, and then they just tuck it and run. And he left the ball up for grabs, but he was able to hold on to it as Schumann runs and scampers for about an 8-yard gain. Rain continues to sprinkle down here at Highland, making it maybe a little bit slipperier on the grass out there for the showdown. But 3rd and short now as we go under 4 minutes to play in this first quarter. Schumann looks over to the sideline, checks the play with twins out to each side. One lone back in the backfield. Highland loading it up, looking like they may bring some pressure on the play this time. They do, and it's going to be slung up this time on single coverage, and Ben Rooney, the intended target, almost in his hands, but maybe about a yard or 2 ahead, and not going to hold on to it. Tracked down there, and good coverage by Javon Jones. Jones getting a lot more playing time over the course of the season from Ohio. That 3rd down unsuccessful, so we'll see the punting unit come on. Now we saw some trickeration from the punting unit earlier as the Ellsworth squad on their first offensive possession faked the punt. Had a little dump pass to the near side. We're able to get the first down with ease, and they'll punt this one away for sure. Scotties will let it bounce and will trickle inside the 20-yard line down to closer to the 10. About the 11, 12-yard line is where Highland will take over offensively in this one. So take over Scotties will, and they've had 2 offensive sets, ran only 7 total plays, and found the end zone twice so far in this one. Also forced a turnover earlier on with the interception. Looking to add to their cause are the Scotties and finish the season off on a high note with a victory. 14-0 lead. Highland on top. Twin receivers split out to the near side. Spear back in at quarterback in the shotgun. One load back in the backfield with them. I believe that's D.D. Hall. Willis, the slot man, to the near side. As Spear drops back, pass, and off the fingertips, can't hold on. Stephen Delane looking to haul that in, but cannot hold on to it. Incomplete pass brings up second down. Tristan, over the course of his career, played last year, of course, threw for nearly 430 yards and 4 touchdowns in 8 games. This season, entering today, he had only thrown for 152 yards. But seeing action as a starter in a few games over the course of the season, including the season opener, saw some action. And D.D. Hall staying alive for the moment, continuing to run, but he ran laterally, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds. D.D. Hall pushed out of bounds by Ernest Austin and others as well in on that tackle. I'm going to get a generous 1-yard gain for Hall as he was able to turn up the field for that, but rode out of bounds on the far sideline. 14-0, 2:40 to play in the first. 3rd and 9 for the Scotties, deep in their own territory. Ball on the 12. Spear in the shotgun. Twin receivers split out to each side. Tristan reels back, fires over to the far sideline, and Willis is going to haul that in, but he can't walk the tightrope on the far sideline, and he'll be out of bounds, short of the sticks by a couple yards. And here comes the punting unit for the Scotties for the first time today. So 4th and 2 for Highland. They'll send it in over end to punt this one. Ellsworth perhaps can have some good field position to work with towards the end of the first. Drew Greenhaw, who's been a guy that has been motioned around offensively quite a bit. He's a guy that has some dynamic speed potential for Ellsworth. He's back to take the punt. Quick whistle before play happens, and penalty flag flies out from the white hat. And still haven't seen an indication of. So just making sure that the proper number of players on the field, no penalty flag actually is issued for a penalty. Lane Spiker will punt this for Highland, left to right across your screen. Lane gets his, he didn't get much of it all, and it's going to go off to the side of his foot and bounce around and just maybe get to midfield, but it's going to be at the 49-yard line for Highland. And Highland will give it to Ellsworth in Scotty territory. Ellsworth moved the ball with some effectiveness. We're able to bounce that around with some movement offensively of their own, but they stalled out a couple different times through that interception. Through the interception on that first offensive drive did Ellsworth, and then they ultimately stalled out inside the red zone another time. New quarterback for Ellsworth, it looks like. Paris Chambers, the guy that played against the Scotties last year and had a solid game with over 200 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, and he's amassed nearly 2,000 yards passing. Chambers takes that on the direct snap to him. Of course, the quarterback keeper, Jeremiah Hill, the initial hit, and then brought down as well. Javon Jones also in on the tackle. Chambers gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but that's it. Chambers can run the ball, too. He's the leading rusher on this team. Not afraid and bashful to run the ball is the quarterback. And maybe a little bit nicked up. So Chambers coming off the field after just one play. And back to Jake Schumann we go for the quarterback spot for the Panthers. Twin receivers to each side. One lone back to the right hip pocket of Schumann. Calls for the snap. 3-step drop. Slings that off to the far side and skipped to the receiver. So an incomplete pass. Can't haul it in. And pass intended there for Malik Thornton. Marion Williams in on coverage. Interesting to see if Chambers comes back in. I don't know if he was designed that he would come back out after that first play or if he was rattled by the hit from Jeremiah Hill. 3rd and 10, ball on the 49-yard line of the Scotties. Schumann back in the shotgun formation again. Again, twins to each side. And they're going to hand this off to Roberson and straight up the gut. Actually, that might go in the hands. Doc Combs. Doc Combs, not too much carries for himself over the course of the year. It's been Roberson most of the time out of the backfield for Ellsworth. Gain of 4 brings up 4th and 6, but we'll punt it away. So just a 4-yard gain and a 3 and out for Ellsworth. Highland's defense maybe settling in a little bit better now here to start this game. 20 seconds to work with here in the first. Kick this one away on the punt. A high punt that will be just let go by the Scotties. Inside, and will deaden around the 15, trickle back up to the 16-yard line, and Highland will take over at the 16 with 6 seconds remaining here in the first, up 14-0. Highland scored on their very first 2 offensive drives of the ball game, looking to add some points to their total here on this next offensive drive. It's been, just a minimal plays over the course of the game for Highland. Now 10 plays, 174 yards, which is 17.4 yards per play. Throw in over for Ellsworth on the contest. They got 102 yards of total offense in this showdown. New quarterback is Narcus Driver. High snap. Driver takes it, and he's going to run off to the right side and be wrapped up from behind, pushed out of bounds instead. Looked like he was going to try to wrap up tackle, but rode out of bounds. Narcus Driver into the contest for the very first time for himself. He takes it to the 20-yard line for a gain of 3. Driver's amassed a good, rushing total over the course of his last few games as a starting quarterback. That run by Narcus will end the first quarter of action. 14-0, Highland on top here on the Scotty Sports Network and Rainbow Communications as the Scotties in the regular season here today against Ellsworth and lead at 14-0 after one stanza.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
We head to the second quarter of action. Highland on top, 2-touchdown lead, 14-0, scoring on their first 2 offensive drives of the ball games. Flip sides of the field, so right to left across your screen, Highland comes, and the man in motion. Driver, the quarterback, takes it on himself. Quarterback keeper goes right into the teeth of the defense there. Keaton Shad getting the tackle. 14-0 lead for the Scotties. Narcus Driver now getting an opportunity at quarterback after Tristan Spear started the ball game and orchestrated a couple of scoring drives led by the ground game. D.D. Hall and Justin Ruiz both with big runs today. Narcus Driver putting his gloves back on and hunkering back down at the quarterback spot. Driver looking to pass, and he's going to go over to the flat. He had a man, but it's going to be just a little off height that time, and incomplete pass, not hauled in. Sherez Ham, the intended target. Ham, the intended target of the pass reception from Driver, but an incomplete pass brings up 4th down, and the Scotties will now punt away for the second consecutive offensive drive.
Back in punt formation for the Scotties, number 28.
Quick 3 and out that time. And again, short field perhaps for Ellsworth. They got the ball in Scotty territory last time around, did nothing with it as they went 3 and out themselves. But we'll see Lane Spiker send it end over end. He's averaging on the season around 35 yards per punt. This is a better punt than the last one. And we'll call for the fair catch. Actually lost the handle. Ball's up for grabs, and I think Ellsworth did get back to it. The guy that, of course, saw it carry him off of his hands, Drew Greenhaw, got back in there in a pile of 3 Scotties on top of him. But Greenhaw moved backwards, and Ellsworth pinned inside the 35-yard line to around the 34 to start this offensive drive. Ellsworth is shown with Paris Chambers out there for one play, but that was it. It's been Jake Schumann otherwise at quarterback for the Panthers here today, who averaged 22.5 points per game through 10 games. Go Twins to both sides yet again, as they normally do offensively. Like to open things up. Back goes directly behind the quarterback in Schumann. Tailback being Kendrick Roberson. Actually, no, that is going to be Combs, I believe.
Ball carried by number 34, Doc Combs.
Doc Combs carries that. Combs, small stature guy, 5'7", but can hide behind that offensive line, and Combs doesn't get anything on that run, however. Ethan Barnett, really the second guy that had been featured over the course of the year out of the tailback position outside of Roberson, but Doc Combs getting the opportunity to see some action here. And Combs lays down the block. That's ahead for Rooney, and Rooney would have been taking a big lick if he would have been able to hold on to that pass. Incomplete pass, though, and good coverage by the Scotties as well. Marion Brown in on coverage. Darius Johnson there, too. Incomplete pass brings up third down. Quickly to third down, just like that, a snap of the fingers, and we've got 3rd and 10 for Ellsworth. Gain no yards on this offensive drive so far. Twins to each side. They look to the sideline for the call. Doc Combs, the running back in the backfield with Schumann. Gives the offensive line the new call from the sideline. Play clock down to 5. Schumann calls for the snap. 13:35 left to play in the first half. That pass over the sideline, caught, and he'll haul it in. Just was able to put a foot down and tracked in that time. Don Brown tracking down the reception. It's a good, spread after Ben Rooney and Drew Greenhaw. The guys after that have been spread out as far as who have contributed in the passing game for Ellsworth over the course of the season. Brown, that's just his 6th catch of the year, but it's a big one for the first down on a 3rd and 10 play. Schumann drops back to pass, gets away from, and the ball comes loose, picked up by Ellsworth. Doc Combs was there, Johnny on the spot. Schumann lost the handle, and I was wondering if it would be an issue for Schumann when he is going to take it and run. He doesn't really protect the ball very well, as he kind of leaves it in free space, and it kind of showcased its situation there with the fumble. On the year, they fumbled 10 times, Ellsworth, or lost 10 fumbles, I should say. They fumbled a few more than that, but they've lost 10 fumbles. Didn't lose that one. Combs was able to pick it up, but for a loss. So 2nd down and 12. And here's the handoff. Combs shakes, bakes. He's upended by Johnson, but right at the sticks, and he should get about a 12-yard gain for the first down. Doc Combs was able to run straight up the middle, and Darius Johnson brings him down, but not until he gets the first down. They mark him ahead of the 45 to the 44. Quick hurry up. Ellsworth wants to set things up quickly and get back into the offense fast, and here's Combs again, straight up to shoot, going right in the heart of the defense of Highland. Noah Span in on that tackle. Also Fofana, I believe, as well, helping wrap him up. Gain of around 4, 2nd and 6 as we go under 12 to play in the first half. Ellsworth again looking like they can mount a drive. They did this earlier on in the game, but did not get anything on the scoreboard out of it. Go with one lone receiver to the near side in Thornton. Twin receivers over to the far side had the slot back as well. Rolling out here too, and this one thrown up for grabs. Misfired on that one. Can't go through. It goes right through the hands. And Ogletree, the intended target. Javon Jones hitting Ogletree square in the small of the back too. Can't hold on to that pass for Ogletree. And brings up 3rd down. Twin receivers to each side. One back in the backfield, the left hip pocket. Schumann now steps back to the line. Combs is the back in the backfield. 11:34 to play in the first half. At halftime, we'll give you some cross-country results. Now a close beat on it over on the far sideline. Penalty flag comes flying out. Ben Rooney hauls it in for what right now stands as a first down. But we'll see what the yellow is. There hasn't been many penalty flags thrown here today thus far. Trevon Hinton was in coverage. Looks to be on Ellsworth, so will negate what will be a first down catch. About 7 yards by Ben Rooney on the far sideline. Still waiting the official call from the White Hat.
Ineligible downfield on the offense, number 64. 5 yards from the previous spot, remains third down.
So replay third down and minus 5 yards as well from the previous spot. So basically we go to a 3rd and 10 situation again. 3rd and 11 if you want to be technical as well, because it was 6 yards need to get the first down. Dual backs in the backfield, twin receivers to the near side. They go man to motion again is Greenhoff. He comes out to the flat, got him open, but they're going to go far downfield. This one's up for grabs and broken up. It looked like it might come in there, but a great pass breakup that time by Jonathan Thompson. Thompson, who had the interception in the ball game, breaks that pass up as intended for Malik Thornton, but incomplete pass brings up 4th down. Just a little over 11 minutes to play. We'll see if they bring the punting unit in and punt this one away. Trying to pin Highland back on their heels. Back on the 10-yard line, the returner for the Scotties, Demarion Williams. Of course, Isaiah Gray, normal guy that would return in this situation, but Gray out these last couple of weeks. Punt off cleanly that time from Nealon. And we'll go to the far sideline, bounce out of bounds around the 15-yard line, though. Inside the 15, about the 13 officially. 11-7 left to play in the first half. Highland on top, 14-0. Scotty's got 2 scores on the very first 2 offensive drives of the ball game, and in quick fashion at that, forcing a turnover on Ellsworth on their first offensive drive as well. But Scotty's mixing it up on the offensive capacity. Couple big runs by D.D. Hall and Justin Ruiz early on. Now Narcus Driver in at quarterback after Tristan Spear started the ball game. Driver in the backfield at the quarterback spot with Ruiz to his hip pocket, and now an end around this time, handed off and coming to the near side on that play.
84,
Shaquem Bradley. Bradley, who caught the touchdown pass from Tristan Spear. Gets about 7 yards. Come with that wide receiver, come across the field, a little jet sweep type action. And been able to get some positive gains on that. Trey Willis had that play earlier in the matchup. Justin Ruiz, the tailback in the backfield. Narcus Driver in the shotgun. They go twins to the near side. One lone receiver split out. Ellsworth thought there was a jump by Highland. Here's a handoff to Ruiz, a little delay, and Justin's got the first down ahead of the 25 up to around the 29. And Justin Ruiz putting his head down and barreling his way through to the second level of the Ellsworth defense. 14-0 lead for Highland. First down for the Scotties. They continue to move the ball. We'll talk about the sophomores at halftime. We'll tell you about how cross country did today at the Nationals in Fort Dodge, Iowa. That's coming up at halftime. Also, the men's basketball team in action here today, too. Driver with the quarterback keeper, and will continue to keep his legs moving forward as Ellsworth piles in. Multiple tacklers bringing down Driver on the run. Gain of about 3 to 4 yards, and tackling group included Robert Odendell. Gain of 4 officially. 2nd and 6. Ball up to the 33. 9:40 and counting in the first half. Ruiz continues to be the tailback in the backfield. Willis will be the slot man to the near side. Trey Parker split out as well. Willis now goes in motion. They fake the handoff out. Willis did get his fingertips on it. I thought there was going to be a fake, and then Trey just got back on top of it and fell down as well. Didn't want to take any opportunity unnecessary. And try to get something positive out of it, but he just keeps the ball for the Scotties. Miscommunication. I don't know if driver was intending to hand that to Willis, because Willis didn't look like he was expecting it necessarily. As it goes off his fingertips, bobbled around, but he did pick it up back in the backfield. But a loss on the play. Now it's about 3rd and 20 as we go under 9 minutes to play in the first half. Tristan Spear back in at quarterback. They'll split it out with twins to each side. Spear throwing that touchdown pass, which was his 2nd of the season, and in his Scotty career was his 6th. Highland calls a timeout here, a big 3rd down play with 8:37 left to play in the first half. Scotty's on top 14-0, but after those 2 initial offensive drives to open up the ball game, Scotties have struggled to move the ball. Ellsworth has not found much doing offensively of their own over the course of the ball game. 185 total yards of offense for Highland, but a lot of that comes on some big runs early on by Dede Hall and Justin Ruiz. 128 yards now amassed for Ellsworth in this contest. 96 through the air, 32 on the ground. 149 of the 185 is on the ground for Highland in this matchup. And a relatively clean game as far as penalties. Only 1 have happened in this showdown. Ellsworth is a good team as far as not being penalized over the course of the year. They average less than 5 per game. Highland averages only about 6.5 penalties per contest this year. So both teams are disciplined in that capacity and don't expect too much laundry on the field today as far as the yellow goes. Drizzle coming down to start this ball game, and kind of continues to be that way over the course of the contest. Spear reels back, fires this one. He's got a man trying to dance his way to the first down, but it won't be a chain mover. That hauled in. Cody Summers. Summers getting some time over the course of these last few games. Brings up 4th down. So 4th down for Highland here in this situation. Of course, you lost plenty of yards, so a gain of just around 8. So it's 4th and 12, and Lane Spiker will punt it away. Highland's had to punt deep from their own territory several times now, the last 3 times especially. Ellsworth is able to turn out one opportunity that they got in Scotty territory. Last time they were unable to do that. There's a fair catch. This one is cleanly caught by Ben Rooney. Drew Grinha did not catch a fair catch cleanly last time and almost coughed up the ball on a fumble. But Ben Rooney now comes in a little more sure-handedly, holds that in, and sets up Ellsworth with the ball at the 40-yard line. Schumann back in the shotgun again. Looks like Doc Combs, the running back, once more. And they'll go twins to each side. A lot of small wide receivers out there for Ellsworth in their opportunities that they utilize. Combs with the carry. Gain of maybe 1 to 2 yards, but rode down to the ground relatively quick. Highland on top of that. Amadou Fofana in on the tackle. Leading the way, several guys of the linebacking core this year. Mario Dungy, by the way, was in on that tackle as well, too. Schumann in the shotgun, loaned back to his left, and they hand it off to Combs again. Comes straight forward once more, rides his way up to the 45-yard line. And brought down and was hit pretty much immediately after it shoots through the line. Tackle in on that, Jeremiah Hill. Jeremiah, 21 tackles away from first all-time in career for Highland. Not sure he can rank up a 21 tackle ball game, but he'll be finishing second nonetheless. And great penetration there. Hill gets in the backfield and wreaks havoc on the sack. Jeremiah Hill gets that quarterback sack. 2 other guys were converging on top of Schumann. And great penetration. I mean, 3 guys came nearly untouched by Highland right through the line. And were able to bring Schumann down quickly. Jeremiah Hill gets great play there for himself. The quarterback sack, his third of the season, now 3.5 officially. And Hill not only ranks in the top 5 of the Jayhawk Conference in tackles per game and tackles overall, third in tackles per game and fourth in tackles on the season is Hill in the Jayhawk Conference. Punting it away, and that one actually will graze Ellsworth. Yeah. Ellsworth, I thought it appeared to Ellsworth, and Highland saying that they did not touch it, although the referee's in disagreement. The referee's saying it grazed off of Scotty. Looked like it was going off of Ellsworth there in that situation, which made it a live ball, and Ellsworth pounced on top of it.
Is that the ball touched a receiving team player, recovered by Ellsworth, first down.
Well, there you heard it. White hat indicating exactly what I just unfolded. The indication on the field is that the ball hit a receiving team player, which was Highland, of course, and thus a live ball. I do believe it hit a player, but I think it was the other way around. It hit Ellsworth, and they recovered in that scenario. But, well, they get the ball back as Combs has it and rides his way for about a 1-yard gain, but that's about it. Multiple guys in on the tackle, including Jakeem Green. So Ellsworth back in business again. They had this kind of situation unfold as well. They had a fake punt on the very first offensive drive and got themselves into Scotty territory because of the conversion with the fake punt. Now they're in Scotty territory again, knocking on the door of the red zone. Ball around the 25-yard line. 2nd and 9 from the 25 with 5.5 minutes to play in the first half. Schumann in the shotgun, twin receivers to each side. Little flinch up front, it looked like, by Ellsworth. No penalty flag thrown. And Schumann flushed out of the pocket, reeling back, looks this one, and fires to the end zone. An incomplete pass. His intended target was Malik Thornton. Penalty flag is now out in the backfield. Schumann went down and has his shoulder pad on display after the big lick from him. Look to the near sideline. I think it's on Ellsworth.
Holding, offense number 75. 10 yards from the previous spot. Remains second down.
10-yard penalty on the hold. We'll back him up. So the ball will make its way back to the 35-yard line, and we'll redo second down as well. 5:14 remaining to go in the game. Ellsworth still looking to break the goose egg off the scoreboard. Highland looking to keep it on there. Ellsworth coach coming onto the field wanting a discussion about something. I'm not sure what about. Maybe the collision with their quarterback, and getting a little dirty because of the wet field. You can see that Schumann on his right side, ridden down to the ground just a little bit ago. 14-0 Highland on top. Little over 5 minutes to play in this showdown. Again, coming up at halftime, we'll track down the cross-country results for the Scotties today at Nationals. Men's team tipping off, I believe, in about 5 minutes or so for men's basketball for the Scotties today. Schumann with one lone back in the backfield. That's Combs. He now goes out for a little short pass, and that's swallowed up and rejected that time on that pass. Jakeem Green sticks his hands up and swats it back in the face of the quarterback, Jake Schumann. Brings up 3rd and long. 3rd and 20. 5:09 left to play in the first half. Scotties, after a great start to this ball game offensively, where they needed only really 7 plays to get their 2 touchdowns, and sputtered a little bit there. They started to move the ball a little bit more, but nearly 200 yards of offense for the Scotties in the first half. Ellsworth going to call a timeout on this 3rd down play. 5:09 left to play in the first half. And Scotties lead at 14-0 in this showdown. Scotties won 5 in a row against Ellsworth before last year's loss, which was a 31-20 contest at Ellsworth. Ellsworth had Paris Chambers, who's on the roster as quarterback and listed as the starting quarterback for them. They had him play well last year in this game against Highland, but he's played 1 snap. I'm not sure if we're going to see him again. He left after that snap and was a little woozy looking going to the sideline. But it's been Jake Schumann, the backup, seeing more action than the sophomore Paris Chambers for Ellsworth today at quarterback. Highland, of course, several guys out for them, so it's a new cast of characters in many different ways, especially in the secondary. It's been that way for the last few weeks now. Offensively, some playmakers out of the equation, too. They'll go trips to the near side. One lone guy split out far. One back stays in the backfield with the quarterback, Schumann, and that's Combs. Combs stays back to pass protects, and it's going to be a quarterback keeper trying to get the first down to be close for it. He may spin into it as that one spun down close to the first down, but I think they may mark him just shy. Lauren Young down the field in on that tackle. And they'll bring it fourth down. So 1 yard short of the first down. 11 yards short, 1 yard short of the original line to gain. So it's 4th and 11. They'll go for it on fourth down. I forgot it was 3rd and 20. Schumann in the shotgun, and there's a whistle, and penalty flag flies in from the near sideline. A little jawing up front, but it's most likely in the vicinity of a false start.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
False start, so back them up 5 yards for Ellsworth here on fourth down. 4:22 to go. They turned the ball over on a fourth down in this area earlier in the matchup on a solid drive that they had sustained for a little while. Again, the opening drive, they turned it over with the interception. This could be a turnover on down situation as well. They'll go for it on fourth down again, but it's 4th and 16 now after the 5-yard penalty. Combs to the right hip pocket of Schumann in the backfield on the sidecar. Twin receivers to each side. Ben Rooney, the slot man, on the near side. Malik Thornton split out all the way to the near sideline. Some pressure, penalty flag flies in again. The pass intended for Rooney. And on top of Schumann was Kendrick Caddis, joined by Javon Hinton as well. But yellow came in just as the snap happened for this one too.
Offsides, defense number 13. 5-yard penalty, remains fourth down.
So defensive offsides, Jeremiah Hill called for that for Highland. So at 5 yards that was called against Ellsworth on the false start, just given back, and we'll go back to fourth down and 11. So all this whole situation is done is just take clock off there. We're under 4 minutes to play. Schumann puts Combs to the sidecar on the right. In the backfield in the shotgun. Look at the pass. 3-step jump goes and sails this one over everybody's head. Miscommunication. Ben Rooney, maybe the intended target. Thornton was in the vicinity as well, but that sails about 5-6 yards over both of their heads. And an incomplete pass leads to a turnover on downs again from Ellsworth. 3:55 left to play in the first half. Highland on top 14-0. Scotties would like to add another score to the fold here before we hit intermission and see if they can put some things together for themselves to have a wider margin in their favor before halftime. Tristan Spear back in at quarterback. We've seen Narcus Driver in at quarterback as well. High snap, and Spear hands this one off and quickly swallowed in the backfield. Not much doing that time, and we'll go backwards. Loss on the play for Highland. D.D. Hall again carrying that. D.D. when his very first start here at Highland, had a really good game, went over 100 yards on the season, entered the day's game with about 260 on the ground. He's already over 100 yards today, although that negates a few of those yards just on that last carry. Around 102 yards on 4 carries now for D.D. Hall. But back a yard or two, so 2nd and 12. Spear in the shotgun, twin receiver to the near side. Slot man is Willis. Penalty flag flies before the play. And I think the play clock expired and it should be a delay of game call.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty.
Delay of game, and indeed it is. 5-yard penalty for the Scotties, so backwards they go again. They've lost 7 yards on this offensive series. 2nd and 17 with 3:08 to play in the first half. Ball now on the 20-yard line. Highland right to left across your screen. Snap to Spear, hands this one off again to Hall, and Hall wrestled down quickly by his jersey in the backfield once more. Multiple guys in on that tackle, grabbing on and holding on is Jeremiah Worthen. Hold on to Hall's jersey to help impede his progress. Back to the original line of scrimmage, so no gain on the play. 3rd and 17 for Highland. Scotties needed only 3 plays in their opening offensive series and got into the end zone. One of those plays was just a waste because they had a bad snap. So they really only had 2 plays on that first offensive drive. High snap again. Spear under pressure. Quick pass there that time, and there's a penalty flag come flying in late. Yeah, D.D. Hall, the intended target, was wrapped up before the ball even got to him, and that's going to be a hold that time on Ellsworth, Jahid Beeman, or could call pass interference against 2 on the pass, but it was holding on to him for sure. So it's a penalty nonetheless on Ellsworth, one way or the other. We'll wait to get the official call from the White Hat in a moment as they are talking it over on what it'll be. It's 3rd and long for the Scotties, 3rd and 17, but should get about 10 yards at minimum here. So then it would be about 3rd and 7 if you get a 10-yard penalty. 2:18 to play before halftime. So 14-0 Highland on top.
Holding. Defense number 99. Holding an eligible receiver. 10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Automatic first down along with the 10 yards from the holding call. So holding on that pass play from the Scotties. The 10 yards moves the ball up to around the 30-yard line with 2:18 to play here in the first half. Scotties on their own 30-yard line and get the first down after the penalty. Spear back in the shotgun formation. Fullback in the slot back position on the far side of the formation. Receiver to split out to the near side is Parker. Spear going across the middle to Parker, but it goes over his head and incomplete pass. Coverage by Jeremiah Worthen. Getting the updates on Highland Community College cross-country teams. We'll give you those updates when we can at halftime. Competing at the Nationals today in Fort Dodge, Iowa. 2nd and 10 from the 30. Spear back in the shotgun with a twin split out to the far side. Parker, the receiver, out here to the near side. Hand off to Hall, and Hall trying to spin loose from the defensive line, but ridden backwards and tackled by Demetrius Cadell. And Cadell getting in on Hall after just a 2-yard gain. 3rd down and 8 with 1:55 to play in the first half. Don't forget, if you're local around here and you have local cable from Rainbow Communications, you can watch this broadcast back. They're here with us today filming the showdown for Highland Community College. Check out rainbowtel.net for when this ballgame will re-air. Video on demand as well. Spear in the shotgun. Twin receivers on the near side. They'll hand it off. Hall dances around behind his line. Still staying alive and churns his way to the first down. D.D. Hall put his head down and churned his way upfield for the chain mover up to the 40-yard line. And D.D. Hall, nice run. He's kind of hid behind his offensive lineman for a little while and then danced free of that. Carried a defender with him for the first down. Ball on the 40, 1:10 to go. Spear rolls out now on the right side, under duress a little bit, slings this up for the grabs and out of bounds. It was never really in the opportunity for Stephen Delane to haul that down, as Delane had went on a pass route down this far sideline. Clock stops, though, on the incomplete pass, so minute 4 remaining in the first half, and Highland on their own 40-yard line with the 2nd and 10 play. Scotty's scored on the first 2 offensive drives of the ball game. Justin Ruiz, 35-yard touchdown run, was the 2nd touchdown. Tristan Spear connected with Shaquem Bradley for 20-yard touchdown pass for the 1st. And Spear has to call a timeout. Miscommunication, also the play clock dwindling down as well, too. So Scotty's used a timeout with 1:04 to play here in the first half. Again, coming up at halftime, we'll look at how the Scotties did at the national tournament for cross country. Women and men both are in the books for that competition. Also, maybe give you an update as we can on the Highland men's basketball team, who are in action now. Just about, actually, they probably just tipped off against Link Year Prep. They're in search of their 2nd win of the season. 2nd and 10 from the 40. Scotty's right to left across your screen with Tristan Spear at quarterback. Trey Parker, Trey Willis split to the near side. Twins over to the far side with one lone back in the backfield in D.D. Hall. Scotty's lead it by a 2-touchdown score, 14-0. But looking to perhaps add to that, but they're going to have to cover good real estate to accomplish another scoring feat here before halftime. Spear in the shotgun. 1:04 to go. Again, Twins to each side. Snap from Martin. Spear under duress, and oh man, he took a big lick, and after a little spin, hit one right in the back that time. Big hit by Torrin Scrunchins. And Tristan Spear went down hard. Back at the 33-yard line. Boss on the play, sets up 3rd and long. The clock continues to churn. We're at under 40 seconds to play in the first half. Spear will go back in the shotgun, taking his time as the play clock has dwindled down under 10 as well. Down to 26 on the game clock. Spear takes the snap, high snap, gives it off to Hall. Hall's going to bounce out off tackle on the right side, try to spin out of the tackle, but wrapped up and brought down by Jeremy Worthen. And Hall maybe gets back those yards just lost a little bit ago. 15 seconds, clock stop for the moment. So it brings up 4th down. Referees now conversing around the 40-yard line for a moment. And I'm assuming there's a timeout, but no timeout officially announced with this one. But 15 seconds remaining in the first half. There was a timeout, looks like. Now the White Hat just pointing over towards Ellsworth, perhaps calling that. They'll set up to receive this punt. As Highland will kick the punt, and that might lead to maybe one offensive play for Ellsworth, depending on how it unfolds. But we will wait and see in that situation. Again, coming up at halftime, a recap of the Highland cross country action, as they have been busy today, competing at the national competition. We'll break down the first half statistics as well from our showdown here on the campus of Highland Community College. Highland wrapping up the football season today against Ellsworth. Punting unit on for the Scotties. Spiker back, standing on his own 25-yard line. Set to send this one into over in with 15 seconds on the clock. Clean snap. Spiker against his south. They bring a little pressure, they do. And over the head of the punt returner, Rooney. And it will make its way into the end zone. Clock settles at 5 seconds. So should get maybe one play this time for Ellsworth, who has moved the ball, but not been able to cash in for any points out of some of the drives that they put together. 136 total yards of offense in the first half for Ellsworth. 202 yards for Highland Community College. Again, a lot of that coming on some big runs early on. D.D. Hall with that 62-yard run, I think it was, early on. Add a 40-plus yard run from Hall as well. Justin Ruiz had the 35-yard touchdown run. So a lot of the rushing statistics come on those 3 plays in general. They'll hand this off and just go straight up the middle and rode backwards by Amadou Fofana was the ball carrier, Doc Combs, and that will do it for the first half of action. We've hit intermission, and Highland leads this one after scoring on their first 2 offensive drives of the game. The Scotties are up 14-0 here on the Scotty Sports Network and Rainbow Communications as Highland leads it over Ellsworth in the season finale at home, 14-0 as we head to the half.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu. What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Welcome into the halftime show here on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you here for halftime as Highland leads at 14-0 in the season finale of college football season. And the Scotties scored on their very first 2 offensive drives of the ball game. First 7 plays really leading to the first 2 scores and the only 2 scores here in this showdown as we've reached intermission for the regular season matchup of Ellsworth and Highland, and it's the, of course, last matchup of the year for these 2 teams. We'll look at the halftime statistics. We'll dive into that after we do a little scoring recap. Ellsworth mounts a offensive drive and to open up the contest that looked like it had stalled out, but a fake punt leads them to continue the drive, get into Scotty territory, only to throw an interception. Jonathan Thompson intercepted that, and that set up the Scotties for their first offensive drive, and it was a big hit play to open up the offensive side for Highland as they had a 62-yard run by D.D. Hall. Missed snap on the next one, and then after that, 20-yard touchdown pass from Tristan Spear to Shaquem Bradley, and the PAT good, 7-0, 9:41 to go in the first quarter, and Highland was on top early. Scotties would waste no more time to get on the board again. Once they got the ball back, they would have a 35-yard touchdown run from Justin Ruiz. Extra point good successfully there as well, 14-0. And it would remain that way for the rest of the first half. Both teams moved the ball with some effectiveness at times, but defensively were a bit more stout more than often in the rest of the first half after the Highland 2 scoring plays early on to lead to the 14-0 lead lead at halftime. Scotty's outgaining Ellsworth 202 total yards on 26 plays. That's 7.7 yards per play on the contest. 39 plays run for Ellsworth, but only 135 total yards. That's nearly 3.5 yards per play on this one. They do have 2 fumbles, Ellsworth does, but we're able to recover both of them. Highland losing one on a punt situation. So turnovers are actually even now after a interception was thrown by Ellsworth in the showdown. Diving a little bit deeper into the yardage capacity, 157 of the 202 yards for Highland is via the ground attack, 45 yards passing on 5 of 9 completions. 7 of 18 passing for 96 yards for Ellsworth as a team, and 39 yards rushing in this contest. Penalties relatively even, 4 for 30 yards for Ellsworth, 2 for 10 for Highland in the first half. Offensively, we look at the statistics for the Scotties. Tristan Spear, 5 of 8 passing, as Narkis Driver also attempted to pass, but it was incomplete. So Spear, 5 of 8 for 45 yards and a touchdown. Receiving-wise, Shaquem Bradley catching the touchdown pass of 20 yards. Trey Willis has 3 catches for 16 yards, and Cody Summers with 1 haul-in of 9 yards. Rushing tonight, D.D. Hall this afternoon has 119 yards rushing on 8 carries, most of that on the first 2 carries of the day for himself. Justin Ruiz, 2 carries for 44 yards for a touchdown. Shaquem Bradley with 1 carry for 7 yards. And the rest of the guys that have a carry tonight have negative yards rushing for Highland in this one. Offensively for Ellsworth, Jake Schumann getting the start at quarterback. He's 6 of 17 passing, an interception and 68 yards, been sacked 3 times. Also, it's the punter, Austin Nealon, has 1 for 1 passing for 28 yards on that fake punt. Receiving-wise, 3 catches for Ben Rooney, 42 yards. Travis Fezia caught the fake punt for 28 yards. Also, Greenhaw and Brown, each with 1 catch for 11 yards, and Roberson with a 4-yard catch. Rushing-wise for Ellsworth, it's 8 carries for 26 yards for Doc Combs. Also, the quarterback, Jake Schumann, with 8 carries for 12 yards, and Tekandrick Roberson, who was featured a little bit earlier, has just 3 carries and only 5 yards here at intermission. We'll look at the defensive statistics now and look on to Highland's side first. As Jeremiah Hill with a total of 6 tackles on the day. Amadou Fofana with 5. 3 guys with 4 tackles, which include Jakeem Green, Demarion Williams, and Javon Bobo Jones with 4 tackles apiece. You also have Rico Hanna with a sack, along with Jeremiah Hill and Amadou Fofana, a sack assist, so half a sack for them in this contest, and the other sack accredited to Jacquez Washington for Highland in this one. Jonathan Thompson has the interception and a pass breakup. Demarion Williams and Jakeem Green also each with a pass breakup. 1 sack for Ellsworth, and that's from the hands of Torian Scrunchins. And defensively leading the tackles-wise, it's Worthen with 6, Smith with 3, and about 4 guys with 2 tackles apiece so far here for Ellsworth at intermission. 14-0, Highland leading this one as they are on top. When we come back after this quick little break, we will look and tell you about how things shook out for the Highland cross country team. They're in action at Nationals today in Fort Dodge, Iowa. We'll recap the Highland cross country results when we return here, and as it is halftime at Highland Community College in the season finale for football on the Scotty Sports Network and Rainbow Communications.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Welcome back here on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you here as we are at intermission. 14-0 Highland leading this one. And don't forget, you can rewatch this ball game on Rainbow Communications. Check out rainbowtel.net for more details on when you can see this ball game re-aired on Rainbow Communications. Cross-country teams in action at Nationals today. We'll look at the men's side first, where the Highland men finished 26th out of 44 teams and 319 total runners in competition. Antoine George II finishing in 54th place with a time of 26:42.7 was the best performer of the day for Highland men. Zacharias Filippo finished 83rd. Cole Hinton took 139th. Isaiah Smith with 194th place. And Salo Yole finishing in 243rd place for the Highland men, who again finished 26th out of 44 teams on the day. The Highland women's cross-country team, top 20 finish, as they finished 20th out of 42 teams. 309 total runners for the women's competition. Ivana Uribe led the way for the Lady Scotties, finishing 31st with a time of 19:09.2. Justine Cantu finished 95th. Kosan Campbell finishing 139th. Natalie Panjana finishing 145th. Juliet Rios, 182nd place. Caitlin Schlegel, 187th. And Michelle Aflero finishing in 210th place for the Scotties. You can find those results on our Twitter account at HCC Scotties. You can find that there, of course, and follow us on Twitter if you don't already for great updates on Highland Community College sports. Also, ScottyAthletics.com. There'll be a great recap of the Highland cross-country results and a recap of this football showdown, too, on Scotty Athletics later on today over the weekend for that information. You can find the latest in all of the action. We'll see if we can find the latest in the score for the Highland men's basketball team, as they are in action today yet again, looking for win number 2 on the season. We're going to take another timeout, and when we come back, we'll look towards the second half of this one, as Highland looks to cap off their football season with their what would be their 4th victory of the year, and end the season on a high note with a W.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland's new Precision Agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Looking towards the second half, it's Highland leading at 14-0 here on the Scotty Sports Network and Rainbow Communications for today's broadcast, as Highland Community College looking to wrap up the football season with a victory as they take on Ellsworth Panthers here today. Both teams come in today's game 3 wins on the season, as Highland has a winning record all-time against Ellsworth, 5-3, but looking to add to that. They lost last year, however, to this Panther team by 11. And they lead by 2-touchdown lead here at intermission right now, 14-0. Mike Smith alongside with you here. It's been a pleasure to be on Highland Community College Sports with you this year. Looking forward to the rest of the basketball season, which is already underway, and the men's basketball team in action here today. We will try to give you some updates as much as possible on the Highlands men's team as they take on Link Year Prep. Scotties are down in the first half of that game, 19-7. Highland losing yesterday for the men's basketball team as well, as they're looking to bounce back from that loss, get that second win of the season. Highland women's basketball team snagging another victory last night, as they ultimately are continuing to be undefeated now on the season, as the Scotties won 101-50 last night against Native Dream. You can find some more information on all of Highland Community College sports by checking out ScottyAthletics.com for all the details to keep up to date on that. We'll have a new edition of Scotty Sports Talk on the horizon soon. A week from Monday is the next one planned, at least, for the time being. But stay tuned to ScottyAthletics.com and also our Twitter account, HCC Scotties, for updates on when you can check in on the latest in Highland Community College sports with our latest Scotty Sports Talk edition. And that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks, bi-weekly throughout the course of this school year is kind of how we plan that out for it. But coming up is the second half of this showdown, 14-0 lead. Highland on top in this one. Head coach Aaron Arnold and crew looking to finish off the season with a victory. It's been a bit of a woeful season with a multitude of things, how it's unraveled and played itself out for the year for Highland, but the struggles, can be put to bed after today, and hopefully utilize some good building blocks from this ball game for next year. Send the sophomores out with a win, but also build for the future with some of the guys that are planning on returning next season, as we've seen a lot of those guys maybe kind of featured here today in several different capacities. And again, we want to send best wishes to all of the sophomores here today that were honored before the contest. Stephen Delane, also Shay Crum, Hunter Port, Willie Jordan, Kyle Kearns, Tristan Spear, Jeremiah Hill, Ronnie Jameson, Michael Davis Jr., Torrey Boone, Kendrick Caddis, Trey Barrett, also Javon Jones, Tariq Parkings, Casey Fye, also Cody Summers, Isaiah Gray, Will Solomon, Omadou Fofana, Dominic Williams, and Mose Hall, all the sophomores honored today for Highland Community College for the football team. Also athletic trainers Savannah Claire Morgan, Anthony Foster, and Jazzy Peterson honored today too, as sophomores looking to continue their career in the college capacity next year or moving forward with whatever it may be in their lives. Best of luck to them moving forward. Wanted to give them another shout out here on the broadcast for today, as it is sophomore day. Also, a nice reunion for the cheer and dance team. I know they had the reunion going on today for the cheer and dance team, so had that unfold today as well. So we look towards the second half, 14-0, Highland on top. Scotty's outgaining Ellsworth 202 total yards to 135. Turnovers even at 1 apiece in this showdown. Highland looking to hope to get back to where they had the ball early with some big plays and utilize those to get some more points in this one, but also kind of hold serve and earn the victory here tonight. We're going to slip in another timeout, and when we come back, we'll be just about ready for the second half between Highland and Ellsworth.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.com. hcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a four-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Scotties will receive the kick in the second half as they won the toss and selected to defer for today's contest. So Scotties start off on offense in the second half, and ideally we'd like to see a offensive drive that warrants some points. Obvious statement, of course, but that could set the tone for the second half for the Scotties here in this one. They go for the onside kick, and it will go towards out of bounds. So Ellsworth trying to catch Highland off guard, but Scotties will take over just over the 50-yard line, around the 47. So great field position for Highland. Ellsworth trying to catch Highland off guard. They did that earlier with a fake punt on the very first offensive drive of the game for themselves, but not going to accomplish the feat of the onside kick here in the second half. I don't blame them. You got nothing to lose in the final game of the season. But now they go back on the defensive side of the ball, does Ellsworth, and offensively we come out with Narcus Driver to start at quarterback here in the second half for Highland. Twin receivers to the near side, one lone back in the backfield. Driver calls for the man to go in motion, and that's Bradley. And D.D. Hall gets the handoff, spins his way through the line, past midfield, and close to the 45 on the other side of the field. But they're going to be brought down around the 47. Solid gain from Hall. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4 after the Hall run. Yards per carry average going down for D.D. over the course of the game, but it's kind of hard to keep that pace up after the two big plays that he had in the first couple of carries that he had in the game overall. Bradley, the slot man, to the near side. Parker split out. Brownlee goes in motion, and it takes the snap. As a driver didn't think that was supposed to be the way it unfolded. Narcus kind of put his hands up into the air like, hey, what happened? But the snap happened, and Bradley ended up with it in his breadbasket. He held on to it and gets a solid gain, close to the first down. 3rd and 1, though. Not sure that was supposed to happen that way. But you take it any way you can get as the effectiveness happens for Bradley, who came across on a jet sweep look, but he was able to just take the snap right into his hands. 3rd and 1, driver back in the shotgun again. The Twins over to the far side this time as Parker split out to the near side. Narcus, the quarterback keeper, goes in between the guard and the tackle. He's got some open space. He's going to be brought down from behind, but inside the 20-yard line. They may mark him back at the 20 exactly, but Narcus Driver busts off a big run. He's been able to do that over the course of the time being a starting quarterback. Started the year as a tight end, moved from quarterback to tight end to start the year, then now back to quarterback, of course, but more of a runner and a wildcat type of quarterback. He can throw the ball, but known for his feet a little bit more. 24-yard rush by Driver. Sets up Highland in the red zone on the 20. First and 10 from the 20. Driver in the shotgun. Calls for Willis to go in motion. And they hand it off to Hall. Dede bounces inside and gets his way to the 15. 5-yard gain for Dede Hall. Defensive line bringing down Hall ultimately. Naaman Smith coming up too from the defensive back spot. Smith came up limping, but he was in on the tackle. 2nd and 5 for Highland. Right to left across your screen here in the second half. White pants, the Navy tops, gold numerals. Navy dome with a yellow and gold H. Gold stripe down the middle. Driver continues to be the quarterback. Twin receivers to the far side. Quarterback keeper. Driver dances around out of the backfield and wrestled down after a minimal gain of 1. D'Angelo Anderson brings him down. 3rd and 4 after the 1-yard run by Driver. So Anderson brings him down for that 1-yard gain. Driver on the season, 300-plus yards rushing. A lot of that, though, of course, over the course of the past few games. Really took over at quarterback against Iowa Western. Helped them challenge what then was the number 1 team in the country. Still a top 5 team as Iowa Western on the year. Quarterback keeper, fake the Hall, and Driver gets it. He's going to get close to the goal line and into the end zone. Touchdown, Scotties. Driver just tippy-toed into the end zone on the near corner and was able to get home for the touchdown. Narcus Driver that time runs it in from 14 yards out, and Highland takes the opening drive of the second half down the field for a touchdown. Narcus Driver leading that scoring drive. Will Solomon will come in to put it through the uprights for the extra point. He's 2 for 2 today in that variety. On the season, entered today 16 of 18, so 18 of 20 at the moment now, and this one will be good as well. Splitting the uprights once again is Solomon, and a touchdown on the board in the opening drive of the game the second half for Highland. And the opening drive of the game for Highland too as well for their offense was a good score. And they open up the second half with a touchdown of their own yet again. 14-yard touchdown run from Driver, who was at the quarterback spot. Add the PAT on top of that, and now it's 21-0. Highland on top here early on in the second half. 11:35 left to play in the third. Ellsworth put together a solid offensive drive to open the game themselves. We'll see if they can maybe conjure up a little bit back in that capacity. They do average over 400 yards of total offense this season, but Highland has stymied a lot of good offenses over the course of the year. Their defense for the Scotties, top 20 in several different capacities. Actually, top 10 in total yards per game given up, 6th best in the nation is Highland's defense. And so far today, they've only surrendered 135 total yards of offense to the Ellsworth Panthers. Collision between two different guys, but it's going to be Ben Rooney grabbing this one and coming to the near side and tossed out of bounds by Darius Johnson. Ben Rooney bringing that up. Rooney's showed some shiftiness. He's a little upset with the play from Johnson, though, as his teammate was taking him back to the other side. There is a flag on the play at the 40-yard line is where the yellow laundry is. Pretty minimal yellow in the first half. Only 6 total penalties accepted in the first half. I don't think there was much more than that as well. For quite some time, we didn't see the flags fly from the referees, which is a good thing. These two teams are two really teams that are very minimalized penalties.
88 of the kicking team, receiving team, and 24 of the kicking team. Penalties all set. First down, Ellsworth.
So offsetting penalties by both of the two teams. It was basically some extracurricular activities after the play. And, well, another flag flies in from the far sideline. I'm not sure what happened there, but from the far sideline, another penalty flag flew in. And usually that would indicate maybe some jawing from the sideline that the flag would come from, and a sideline warning, perhaps. But we'll wait and see again. We'll get the official call from the White Hat in just a moment and give it to you. But not the way you want to start, in the second half for that capacity. Highland's defense, though, looking to buckle down after the offense puts a touchdown on the board. 21-0, Scotty's on top. 11:28 to play in the third. Huddle around the 20-yard line by the referees again to talk this over. Coming up next week, we'll have coverage of several basketball affairs for Highland, including next Tuesday.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Ellsworth sideline. Half the distance to go, first down.
So it was indeed on the Ellsworth sideline, like I speculated, and it's unsportsmanlike conduct, so it's half the distance to the goal, and we'll back it up even further. So it's 1st and 10 from their own 11. And that's where we started off here for Ellsworth now on the offensive drive. I'm going to go back to Paris Chambers. So Chambers, who saw one snap in the first half, comes in now here. Going to hand this off. The ball's up for grabs, and then I think pounced back on by the running back as Dot Combs, again, lost the handle that time, but he gets it back. Again, Paris Chambers coming in. I was kind of surprised that we didn't see Chambers a little bit more in the first half, and I thought when the play that did happen, he took a big lick from Jeremiah Hill, and I thought he got shooken up, and that still could have been the case. Maybe he's worked his way out and through some concussion protocol and such. Here's Combs again, staying alive, bouncing around, still pinballs his way, and the guy gets the edge, and will get a first down, wrestled out of bounds that time and pushed out by Demarion Williams. But Combs so small that he's elusive in the backfield, and in between all the big bodies from both lines, was still able to stay alive and bounce out of the mass of humanity and get himself the edge and get the first down because of it. Combs has showed some good things moving forward. He's just a freshman for Ellsworth, but he's been able to run the ball with some effectiveness here. Chambers in the shotgun. Combs back in the backfield again, and Combs gets it once more, straight up the chute, and wrestled down after about a 4-yard gain. Combs once more with the tote, but it's Jeremiah Hill bringing him down, the sophomore linebacker. As I mentioned earlier, second all-time in tackles at Highland Community College. Not sure he can get to number 1 because Brandon King had 199 total tackles in his career. And Hill entered today 21 tackles away from that mark. Chambers gets a little movement from the linebacking core, but takes a snap, fires over to the far sideline. Pass is caught, ridden out of bounds, though. Good play by Demarion Williams. No yards after the catch. And pushed out. That was intended to Don Brown. Don Brown hauled that in, but it's 3rd and 1. Twins to the near side and to the far. One lone back in the backfield, off to the right for Chambers. Shows some cadence there, trying to get some movement. Caddis and Hill looking like they might bring some pressure here on 3rd down. 9:20 and counting in the third. 21-0 Scotties. And Combs gets the handoff. He'll be pushed backwards. He's not going to get the first down. May actually lose a yard. Quick whistle as forward progress was impeded quickly by Kendrick Caddis and crew. And no gain brings up 4th down. 4th down for Ellsworth, deep in their own territory. Ball just over the 30-yard line, but 4th and short, they line up to go for it. And Chambers looking to go under center. Quarterback sneak, and the ball came loose too, I think. And I think Chambers gets on top of it, but I don't think he's going to get the first down. Chambers gets the ball back for Ellsworth, but I don't think he got the first down because of it. Depending on where the ball will be spotted, we'll see. But it's going to most likely be a turnover on downs, at least where they're standing from at this point. Chambers did recover the ball after a bad snap. He came up behind the center. Obviously wanted to snap it quickly and go into the quarterback keeper and the sneak, but did not accomplish that cleanly. Definitely from eyeballs view from the press box, it's not a first down. But I think the chain gang might be coming in to just officially give you the measurements. Although the sideline hasn't brought in the chains quite yet. It looks still back to the original line of scrimmage, which would be an entire yard shy of this one. And I'm pretty sure that the Highland sideline is going to celebrate because they'll have some great field position after another fourth down stop. Scotty's defense on the year has an opponent conversion rate of 39% on fourth down. Yeah, it's clearly a good football length short of the first down. So 1st and 10, Highland, as they'll take over inside the 35-yard line of Ellsworth. And Highland's defense continues to be stout, keeping the goose egg on the board. Maybe looking for their second shutout of the season. They shut out Iowa Central on the road, won in routing fashion in that one, 34-0. And have been really good at taking down, offenses that have been putting up big numbers. I mean, Butler only scored 6 points, and they got a short field to score that lone touchdown of the game in that one. Kept Independence, who is a high-flying offense, to 9 total points, did Highland's defense. Driver takes the snap, quarterback keeper, and squirts through the hole, finds his way all the way down to the 20-yard line. Nice job by Narkis. Gain of about 13 yards for Driver and a first down. And we're back in the red zone again for Highland, where they just were, and they punctuated an opening drive of the second half with a 14-yard Driver run. Driver back at quarterback again, helping and hoping to add some more points for the Scotties. Justin Ruiz in the backfield on the left hip of Driver. Driver going to hand this off to Ruiz. Bounces out. He's got some green space over to the far sideline. Stiff arm. He lunges forward past the 10-yard line and should be close for another first down. Yep, first down it is on the 10. 10-yard gain for Justin Ruiz. Justin Ruiz with another solid run here for himself after the 35-yard touchdown run for Ruiz in the contest. He takes that one for himself. And he got about 3 carries for 54 yards. 130 yards, by the way, for D.D. Hull on 10 carries. Driver's got 48 yards rushing and a touchdown on 8 totes. Go Twins to the near side. One receiver split out to the far. That receiver being Cody Summers. And ball came loose. Ball's up for grabs, but I think Highland gets back on top of it. Another miscommunication perhaps by the Scotties in that situation. Trey Willis recovers, but loss on the play. So 2nd and goal. As we were on the 10, we go back to the 14-yard line on a 4-yard loss. Willis does recover that, so possession stays with the Scotties. An opportunity still to score. 2nd and goal from the 14. Highlands offense on the year inside the red zone. 18 of 29 in the conversions coming into today, with 6 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, and 8 field goals. 2 backs in the backfield, one being a wide receiver in Willis. Willis going to get a block by Ruiz, gets some open space. He's down to the 5-yard line and into the end zone. Touchdown, Scotties! Justin Ruiz opened that gap up on the sweep over to the near side, and Trey Willis runs it in from 14 yards out, and it is back-to-back touchdown scoring drives for Highland here in the second half. Trey Willis with the run that time around. And here with 6:59 to go in the third quarter, Highland visits pay dirt once more and pad their lead, hoping to make it 28-0 as the extra point looms. Solomon, good set there, and put it down by Tristan Spear, up right and through. Penalty flag does fly in on the extra point, and it is good as it stands right now, 28-0 with under 7 minutes to play. But there was a penalty as the extra point unfolded, so we'll wait and see how that penalty does play itself out. But right now, 28-0. Scotties take their first 2 offensive drives of the second half and get into the end zone. They opened up the game, of course, by scoring on their first 2 offensive drives of the game. The basically say we'll kind of have a repeat of that showdown here in the second half. There is a penalty on the play, still talking about how it will unfold.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, Ellsworth number 10. Penalty was forced on the kickoff. This is his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
So unsportsmanlike penalty there was one on the sideline a while ago, but that's on an individual in himself. Jeremiah Worthen, I believe, was the whistled party for that. But will be enforced on the kickoff, so the extra point is good, and it is now 28-0 Highland on top in this contest. Again, scoring on the first two offensive tries of the second half, receiving the kick in the second half, taking it down the field, capping that scoring drive with a 14-yard touchdown run by Narcus Driver. Ellsworth went for it on a fourth down play in their own territory, turned it over on downs. They did not convert on a fourth and short. And Highland then took over on the short field, and because of that, they cashed in for another score. So we'll kick it from the 50, and Solomon will kick this off to the near side around the 5-yard line, picked up by Ellsworth, and they'll take it up the middle on the return. Tezzy, I believe, bringing this one up, and Rico Hanna and crew bringing him down, and penalty flag flies at the end of that play, too. Getting a little out of hand to a certain degree by both teams. Some jawing back and forth, undoubtedly, and this one might be on Highland, unfortunately, on the end of that kick return. Ball, by the way, will be marked at the 27-yard line to start this offensive drive for Ellsworth with 6:50 to go.
After the play, number 26 of the kicking team. 15 yards from the dead ball spot, first down. This is his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game.
It is on Highland's first unsportsmanlike penalty on, I think they said 26, but that was Justin Ruiz if it was. I'm not going to sit here and say that that was indeed the number called on that one. So Ellsworth will take the ball and have it at the 42-yard line now. It was Justin Ruiz, by the way, getting the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Scotty's men's basketball team are up at halftime, 53-36 over Link Year Prep. Pass to the near sideline, caught, and will be ridden out of bounds. Drew Greenhaw. Greenhaw hauled it in, pushed out of bounds here on the near side from Highland. Ja'Cory Reeves. But again, Highland men's basketball team up at the half, 53-36 over Link Year Prep. They were down early in that game, but have fought back, and nice sizable margin in their favor. Parrish Chambers, the quarterback, continued. He converts that pass a moment ago. Sets up 2nd and 4. Chambers in the shotgun, twins to each side. Combs continues to be the running back, and the receiver falls down, intended for Malik Thornton on the near side. Jonathan Thompson in coverage. Thompson and Reeves also in coverage on the near side, but Thornton just slips and falls. I've had some miscommunication a few times, has Ellsworth, but again, Jake Schumann primarily was the quarterback outside of one snap in the first half. Parrish Chambers has been the quarterback here in the second half for Ellsworth. They'll split out, twins to each side again. Combs continues to be the back off to the left on the hip of Chambers. Pressure shown by the Scotties in between the gaps as Caddis and Hill now back off, and there's a penalty flag flying in. This would be delay of game. Delay of game indeed it is. Not paying attention to the play clock for Ellsworth, so they'll back up 5 yards. Chambers on the year, it was a little bit interesting that he didn't get the start today because he's thrown for nearly 2,000 yards and played well against the Scotties last year in this ball game. Actually was the main guy that did the offensive damage against Highland last year. He ran for 129 yards and threw for 203, counted for 4 touchdowns. Combs goes out in motion out to the flat on the far side, and they're going to throw it to him. As Chambers converts that, and now quick wrap up. Good job by Rico Hanna. Didn't allow much after the catch by Combs. Rico Hanna and Kendrick Caddis helping out to finish off the play, but Rico Hanna, a good play not to let the shifty Combs get around him. Brings up 4th down. And punting unit looks like they'll be coming in. Austin Nealon completed a pass earlier today on a fake punt, but not sure if you'd try that again here. You don't have much to lose. Down 28-0 if you're Ellsworth, but 5:45 and counting. Bring in the gunner from the far side. Punt hits the Nealon in the chest. He's able to send this end over in. Bounce around the 25-yard line and will bounce out of bounds on the far sideline and be marked down at the 15.
First and 10 from the 15-yard line.
So the Scotties set up shop on the 15-yard line offensively here. They've scored twice already in the second half. This is the deepest they've been pinned back here in the second half as well. Scotties averaging 20.3 points per game and scored 183 total points on the year. And these 28 points that they've scored here today are the most they've scored this season outside of the 34 they scored in Iowa Central. So second most points scored this season for Highland in this ball game here today. Of course, they won that game 34-0, by the way, against Iowa Central back in the third game of the season. Driver continues to be the quarterback, as he had been over the course of the start of the second half. Quarterback keeper himself. Mike Gary gets it up to maybe the original line of scrimmage and ridden down pretty quick. No gain by Driver on first down, since up 2nd and 10. Started the year with Tristan Spear and Kyle Kearns at quarterback. Kearns coming in as a guy that left Wake Forest. Kearns had some solid games early on and showcased some passing ability, but offensive struggles started to happen for the Scotties. And they switched it up, went to Spear a little bit more regularly, and then decided to go to Narcus Driver. Had Xavier Shepard Jr. come in as a Wildcat quarterback as well earlier this year, and Xavier went down with a leg injury. Again, best wishes to him as he continues to recuperate from that. Driver with another quarterback keeper this time. A lot more positive yards gained there. 3rd and 1 after the 9-yard scamper by Driver. Kevin Brown went down early this year for Highland too. Brown showed a lot of promise early. And Brown, though, unfortunately taken out of the fold relatively quick with a knee injury. He was one of the top guys in the Jayhawk Conference through the first few games in yards per carry. He was averaging 6 yards per carry, Brown, but again, taken out of the fold. Willie Jordan played well this year, too. Unable to finish the season, though. D.D. Hall shakes free, and he's up to the 3rd level. He's up to the 40-yard line, too, and then tripped up and brought down around the 45-yard line. D.D. Hall's got a promising future here at Highland, and he's showcasing why here today with his rushing capacity. And the first carry he had was 60 north of 60 yards. And a big run there by Hall that time around. Tackle, by the way, was Jason Jones.
Holding.
Hall's run going to be brought back.
Remains 3rd down.
And will be remaining 3rd down, a holding call. So basically it's from the spot of the foul. Hall will actually get a little bit of yardage on that, but it's going to be 3rd down around 9 after the hold.
Scotties have 3rd and 9.
So 3rd and 9 for the Scotties after the holding penalty is the D.D. Hall run negated from the flag. But back to my point on Hall in general was 21-yard run before the penalty. He showcased some good speed, good agility from Hall out of the backfield. Here today, had 130 yards just a little while ago, and right up the middle, pinballs off the defender. D.D. Hall again, solid run, and he gets close to the 1st down, but brought down by Liam Smith, and on the tackle. 1 yard shy of the 1st down, so an 8-yard run for Hall. D.D. on the day, 130. I think that was him on that last run. But Hall in the backfield. Receivers split out to each side. Parker to the near side. Snap given off to a driver. He keeps it himself, and he gets away from an ankle tackle and will lunge forward past the 25-yard line, and that's enough to get the first down. And Marcus Driver with a good read on that play. Isaiah Childs brings him down, but not until he gains the first down for Driver and the Highland offense. Scotty's offense moving the ball. So far today, they've went now over 300 yards of total offense today. Driver in the shotgun. They call for the man to go in motion. That's Bradley. Driver with the quarterback keeper instead, and he's going to get away from one guy, but only to see a guy underneath him come away with the tackle. Robert Odenneal getting the tackle. Got away from the big fella, Keaton Shad. Shad was on top of Driver, but Shad whiffed on the tackle, but Odendale came underneath and was able to wrap up Driver for no gain. So over 300 yards of offense today for the Scotties. Best offensive game, of course, was against Iowa Central, where they racked up nearly 500 yards, 493 in that contest. They've ran for 449 yards in 7 of the 9 games, and not running for much going there. D.D. Hall with the run. Hall make it a generous 1 yard, but they're going to mark it back at the line of scrimmage. Best rushing game of the year overall as a team for Highland was against Coffeyville, matter of fact, which is the last game. They ran for 336 yards, and unfortunately it came in the loss, 27-10. Today they have 306 total yards, 261 on the ground, 45 in the air, and holding Ellsworth to just 163. Penalty flag flies in. This is going to be a false start on Highland up front. Getting some other guys involved.
Offense number 74, 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
False start by Highland's offense, but getting some freshman offensive linemen involved in the mix over the past few weeks. Bailey Malovic getting an opportunity to play. Greg Martin, of course, starting today at center. Robert Jones as well in on the offensive line. Those guys you don't expect to anchor the offensive line next year. Driver with the dual backs in the backfield. Willis is one of them, and Trey gets the handoff, gets some open space, gets away from an ankle tackle and wrapped up around the waist and pushed towards the out-of-bounds line. Tackle by Neiman Smith. As Willis, solid gain, but brings it up to around the 28-yard line. It's fourth down, however, for the Scotties. 4th and 8. Just about 15 ticks left to go in this third stanza of action. Highland probably going to be, look like they're going to be content with letting the clock dwindle down and end the third quarter. So the Scotties start off the third quarter with a bang and get a couple of touchdowns on the board. An Arcus Driver 14-yard touchdown run and a Trey Willis 14-yard touchdown run. Makes the lead now 28-0 after 3 quarters of play as Highland Community College leads this one 28-0 as we head to the fourth quarter here on the Scotty Sports Network and Rainbow Communications.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Head to the fourth stanza here on the campus of Highland Community College in the season finale for Highland football. Scotty's with fourth down presented to them, so they'll punt it away on a 4th and 8 situation here. Lane Spikers set to punt it away on around the 13-yard line to Ellsworth. Ellsworth hasn't done much offensively at all here in the second half, fielded by Ben Rooney, and a fair catch caught around the 42. 28-0, Scotty's on top. The first 2 offensive drives of the ball game for Highland result in touchdowns, and the first 2 offensive drives of the second half do the same. And that makes it 28-0, Highland on top. 3 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air. Scotty's with the offense today, amassing 313 total yards. Turnovers are even at 1 apiece. Haven't proved to be too costly for Highland with that 1 turnover they had, but Highland did turn the turnover, leading to points for their first touchdown of the game earlier on Jonathan Thompson interception. Ellsworth with just 163 total yards of offense. Highland's defense has been stout all year. They've only allowed 1 100-yard rusher on the season, individual rusher, that is. Gave up just 108 total yards of offense against Butler. And pass broken up, no good on that pass attempt. Darius Johnson in coverage. Greenhaw was the intended recipient, but incomplete pass brings up 2nd down and 10. As I mentioned, against Butler, Scotty defense only surrendered 108 total yards, but fell 6-2. Butler had a short field to get their touchdown in that ball game. Scotty's got a safety late in that showdown, which was awarded them basically by Butler. Butler then had a free kick, and Highland had ultimately had to cover quite a bit of yards to try to win that ball game. Were unable to do so. Thompson in coverage. Incomplete pass was tipped on the way, too, and intended for Don Brown, but incomplete once more. The clock stops at 14:44 and 3rd and 10. Paris Chambers continues to be the quarterback. We haven't seen DeKendrick Robertson early on since the onset of the game. He's actually on the sideline now in street clothes. He's got his jersey on, but no pads, and I see him on a hoodie over there in Robertson. But must have got injured early on in the ball game. Had just 3 carries, and ultimately that was it. Chambers rolls out, slings this one down the far sideline, tried to come back to it, but an incomplete pass. It fell short. Out there for the intended target, Savion Johnson. Johnson couldn't haul it in. That would have been a first down if he could have gone back to it, but could not haul it in, and 4th down it comes. 3 passes and 3 incompletions for Ellsworth. Just like that, the ball's going back to Highland. Demarion Williams back deep to field this punt. 14:36 left to play in this one, and it's 28-0 Highland on top. Oh, a bad snap. It kind of bounces to the punter. Nealon is going to be able to get this one away, and it'll bounce around the 25. Williams plays it off the hop, stays alive, gets away from a couple ankle tackles. Now he shakes free. He's going to be up to midfield. He's only got a couple guys to deal with, and now he's at the 30, down to the 20-yard line, and he'll take it to the house. Demarion Williams plays it off the hop and brings the punt return back for a touchdown. Penalty flags fly at the end of the play, one from the far sideline, but these came after the touchdown was scored. So I think it's unsportsmanlike call on the Ellsworth squad yet again, but it's going to be a touchdown and return from Demarion Williams of 85 yards officially. Demarion Williams with the return. Didn't look like he was going to make a play on that. Then he played it off the hop and around the 20 or so yard line. And here's the white hat with the indication.
Result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 23 of the defense.
Exactly what I thought. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Ellsworth team after the play. Demarion Williams with the return. And Demarion is able to punctuate a Highland victory, perhaps. Scotty's going to hope to put another PAT through the uprights as we stand. Make it 35-0 with 14-18 left to go after the Demarion Williams return. 85-yard return by Williams for the special teams score, and Solomon splits the uprights once more for the PAT. So Solomon perfect from the extra point capacity today, 5 for 5, and it's 35-0. Highland leading this one, scoring on the punt return. 14-18 left to go in the showdown. Good play by Williams. He shook free from a couple ankle tackles initially and was ultimately into the end zone. 85-yard return from Demarion Williams. Demarion Williams getting that punt return touchdown for the Scotties. They had some other scores this year on special teams. One I remember very vividly was the very first score of the game against Garden City in game number 2 of the year. Great block of a field goal as Lauren Young blocked a field goal, and ultimately Dom Williams, who unfortunately is not playing here to finish off the season, picked it up and ran it back 82 yards, if my memory serves me right, for a touchdown. This is 85-yard return on a punt return by Demarion Williams. Lane Spiker will kick this off. Lane Spiker taking over the kickoff duties here. He did not have the kickoff duties to start the year. Of course, Lane, a Highland, Kansas native, went to high school here in Highland at Donovan West. Spiker will put this one up. Nice little spiral to it, but it's going to fall around the 29-yard line. Picked up by Ellsworth and a sizable return as Fezia going to get past midfield, now to the 40-yard line and pushed out of bounds. And Fezia will get inside the 35 to the 34. Ellsworth with great opportunity offensively standing in front of them, but they're now 35-0 with 14 minutes left to play in this showdown. Highland on their way to their 4th win of the year to cap off the season with a W. And the defensive capacity, the defense this time, obviously just wants to continue to pitch the shutout at this juncture. Again, haven't allowed much yardage at all in the second half to Ellsworth. Back to Schumann, though, at quarterback. Jake in the shotgun, and Combs going to get the handoff. Combs gets away from the first initial tackle, shakes away from that tackle from Kendrick Caddis, and gets his way up past the 30-yard line down to the 28. Combs brought down. Mose Hall in on that tackle. Mose has been a stout guy on the defensive line all year. May not have the statistics that are eye-popping, but defensive tackles don't usually have a lot of great, big tackle numbers. They're there to plug some holes, and Mose has done that throughout the course of the year. Lauren Young wrestles down Combs, but after Dot gets down to the 24, it's going to be 3rd down and short, 3rd and 1 for Ellsworth. Panthers of Ellsworth lost 5 in a row, and some of those by slim margins. Gave Iowa Western all they could handle. Iowa Western, of course, a top 5 team in the country. And Schumann gets deflected as he was frustrated in general about how that unfolded. But Rico Hanna and crew getting on that one. I think Rico was the guy that blocked that back in the face of the quarterback. Another 4th and short play for Ellsworth. They have not converted down on 4th downs very well here today. 4th down efficiency, just 1 of 4. Highlands converted on their only 4th down opportunity they've went for. But they're only 4 of 10 on the 3rd down. 1 of 13 on 3rd down. And Combs bounces back. He almost bounced off, but Combs went down hard. And a great play. Jeremiah Hill, Mose Hall in on that tackle and finishing off the play. Another turnover on downs. And Scotty's shutout continues to be intact. 13:06 left to play. And the Scotties are up 35-0. Doc Combs hit the initial wave and then was brought back. Thought he might bounce off the would-be tacklers and maybe shoot around the line. But good job by Highland to stick with it and finish off the play. Twin receivers split out to the far side. Bradley's in the slot. Tristan Spear back in at quarterback now. As he played earlier on in the contest. High snap goes to Spear. Hand off to D.D. Hall. Stutter step move in the backfield, and he's going to go off tackle off the left side. Work his way up to the 31-yard line.
5-yard run by number 22, D.D. Hole.
D.D. Hole continuing a solid day for himself out of the backfield. Hole with a 135, although I feel like he should have more than that. Twin receivers to the near side. Cody Summers split out with Shaquem Bradley. Trey Parker, I believe, the split out man from the far side. Here's Hall again, trying to lower himself and squirt through the gap, but wrapped up and no gain. Multiple guys in on that tackle, including Naaman Smith. Brings up third down, about 3rd and 6 from around the 31. 12 minutes and counting to go in this showdown before Highland can finish out the season on a strong note, get that 4th victory of the year, and obviously the way they wanted the season to unfold, entering this season with some high expectations after last year's high success. Spear hands this one off to Hull. Hull breaks free again. He's up to the 3rd level and be wrapped up by his ankles. Again, it's Smith bringing him down. But D.D. Hull gets the first down, marks all the way up to the 42. They'll set the chains, and the clock will continue to go. Scotties get the first down, and up to the 42-yard line they work it. D.D. Hull with the 11-yard run. Twin receivers to the near side, and one lone receiver split out to the far. Spear in the shotgun again. Hall definitely showed a workload and a workhorse guy today. His pants are quite dirty, and Hall gets up to the 2nd level again, going to get close to the first down, depending on the mark. I think they're going to be a yard shy. 9-yard gain for Hall on the run. Ellsworth looking like they're out of gas here at this point. Worthen getting the tackle for Hall. Gain of 9, though. 2nd and short. Yards continue to pile up for the Scotties. They're 6 yards away from 300 yards rushing here today. 338 total yards of offense. Fake the handoff to Hull. Pass wide open. It's going to be caught by Stephen Delane. He's upended and brought down as he gets past the 35 down to the 34. Tackle made. Sam Gerst getting the tackle. But Stephen Delane catching that for his 5th catch of the year. And hauls it for the first down and 10 from the 33. They officially mark it. Got an extra yard there for the fullback, Stephen Delane, on the pass reception from Tristan Spear. Twin receivers split out of the far side. Hole back in the backfield yet again. Shea Crum now the slot back fullback in there. Hand off to Hull. Hull goes straight up the middle and up to the 30-yard line. They may mark him back at the 31 and knee down at the 31 for Hull. Gain of about 2 on first down. Don't forget, we'll have post-game for you here on the Scotty Sports Network. We'll chat with head coach Aaron Arnold and a couple of players about their performance here today. 35-0. Highland on top, 9:30 and counting here at home for the Scotties in the season finale. Spear takes the snap, hands it off to Hull again, goes up the middle once more, wrapped up from behind by Anderson. And D.D. continues to churn out some positive yards, though. Gain of about 2 to 3 more yards, sets up a 3rd and manageable situation, 3rd and 5. Ball to 27. As I mentioned earlier, Highland's best offensive game on the ground came last week against Coffeyville, 336 yards rushing. Next run will give them over 300 yards, given that it would be a positive run. Justin Ruiz in there, and he'll lunge forward for positive gain. Wrapped up around the waist by Robert O'Neill.
Number 30, Robert O'Neill.
And Ruiz stumbling forward, sets up 4th and short, 4th and 2, 3-yard gain And now 301 yards rushing for Highland on the day. 362 yards of total offense. Ellsworth with just 170 at halftime. They had, around that same mark as well. There hasn't been much offensive yardage gained in the second half by Ellsworth. As we look at Ellsworth's few drives that they've had, around 54 yards of offense in the second half. Handoff up the middle, and I don't think he's going to get the first down. Justin Ruiz with the carry, maybe a yard to a half yard short. Scotties will turn it over on downs, unable to convert the fourth down. But defensively, they've been ultra stout here in the second half, as Ellsworth has had about 3 opportunities offensively and have accomplished not much with those. Less than 100 yards given up definitely in the second half by Highland's defense, who continues to pitch the shutout as well. Scotty's on the year, surrendering less than 20 points, 19.1 points per game, which ranks them 12th best in the nation, second best in the Jayhawk Conference as well. And that's, obviously with the secondary being reworked over the last few weeks from the normal starters to start this year. Pass by Schumann is going to be thrown up for grabs, intercepted by Thompson, but he's out of bounds as incomplete pass that will go down as. Jake Schumann, again, continues to be the quarterback now. As Paris Chambers played the third quarter for Ellsworth. We are going under 8 minutes. 7:58, 35-0 Highland on top. Scotty men's basketball team was leading last time we saw. We'll try to get you an update on that in a little bit. Hand off to Combs. Combs, though, met quickly and right around the 25-yard line. Gain of about 1. Fofana in on the tackle, along with Kendrick Caddis. So Fofana has been strong up front all throughout the year. One of the sophomores that was honored earlier today. 7.5 minutes left to play. Last time we had seen an update on the men's basketball team, they were up 61-43 with about 16 minutes to go in their game as they play Link Year Prep here today, looking for win number 2 of the season. Schumann takes the snap, quick pass that time, intended for Brown and incomplete. Thompson in on coverage. That's going to bring up 4th down.
4th and 9 for Panthers.
Ellsworth continues to not have much going offensively, especially in the second half. Started the game, obviously moving the ball, and they moved the ball with a fake punt, but got into Scotty territory because of that. They've been in Scotty territory a couple other times on some sizable drives, but ultimately stalling out. And 4th downs, they've went for it several times, unsuccessfully accomplishing that feat. Just 1 of 5 on 4th downs in this game is Ellsworth. Punt is going to be, maybe not as far as you'd hope. It takes a good bounce, though, for the Panthers, and will bounce inside the 35-yard line, roll to about the 32. And there's penalty flags flying out again as the war of words continue and jawing back and forth. Penalty flags fly twice. This might be offsetting, but it's on Corey Reeves, who was talking with one of the gentlemen in C.J. Burris for Ellsworth. We'll see if it might be offsetting. I think I have a distinct feeling that it might be offsetting, both guys getting a penalty flag thrown upon them, though it's been a little bit more chippy in the second half between these two teams. Tempers flaring a little bit more on the Ellsworth side than anything else, hurting them. Penalties have racked up to the tune of 7 for 61 yards for Ellsworth. They are not a team that gets penalized quite often. Still conversing about this call, so we'll wait the official call as it stands. But 363 total yards of offense for Highland, only 171 on the other side.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, 83 of Highland and 19 of Ellsworth. Both are their first unsportsmanlike conduct penalties of the game. Will offset, first down Highland.
So offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties, as I expected. That book might be getting a little bit full with some unsportsmanlike penalties, unfortunately, in this ball game on both sides. But no one disqualified from the ball game because of multiple ones. Highland will take the ball here on 1st and 10 play from the 32. We'll have twin receivers split out to the near side. Spear back in at quarterback. One lone back in the backfield. And receivers split out to the far side as well. Fullback offset on the left side of the line. Handoff, trying to bounce it outside. Now gets up to the second level, wrapped up from behind. And big play that time on a pancake block that time by Casey Fye. And flag flies in here on the near side. Highland guys on the near sideline celebrating the big block and hit by Casey. But a good run that time ultimately as well. You saw it run by Kevin Johnson, I think it was. Yeah, Kevin Johnson's first carry of the ball game.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 60 of the offense. 15 yards from dead ball spot, second down.
They're going to call Casey for the unsportsmanlike penalty after the gesture that he motioned toward his own sideline. But after the gesture, after the ball game, head coach Aaron Arnold shaking his head. It was a great play, but unfortunately marred by the penalty afterwards. So another unsportsmanlike penalty. This one on the Scotties as well. We'll back them up. And second down and long. Now the referees running in from the near sideline there to converse about something again once more. 6:49 remaining in this contest. 35-0 Highland on top. It's kind of unraveled in the second half a little bit. Highland's favor, though. They've scored 3 touchdowns. 2 on the ground and 1 via the punt return capacity. And here's Spear. Pump fakes on a throw. Now just tucks and runs, and he's going to be hit in the backfield. Spear wrestled down after a gain of maybe 1. Spear was trying to throw that into the flat, but didn't really see what he wanted. And brought down relatively quick. Cadell bringing him down. Utilizing the clock as we approach 6 minutes to play. Spear gets the call from the sideline, goes back to the huddle to get things rolling for the Scotties here on 3rd down. Spear back in the shotgun. Summers and Bradley split out to the near side. Lone back in the backfield is Johnson. Take the handoff to Johnson, pass to the flat and caught, but he slips and falls and won't go anywhere after the catch by Shaquem Bradley. Will actually lose yards on the play and brings up 4th and a mile, and will punt it away. Clock continues to churn, though, and Highland on their way to a victory. They're trying to continue the shutout, up 35-0. Defensively, you want to buckle down again. Getting some other guys, though, some opportunities to play. And like I said, Kevin Johnson coming off really the scout team to play last week and this week at running back to provide some depth. So many injuries leading to some other guys suiting up that perhaps wouldn't have normally played at this juncture if everyone's healthy. Scotty's going to call a timeout with 5:12 left to play in this showdown. They're up 35-0. Watching and listening on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you here. Also Rainbow Communications rebroadcast. We're back in 30 seconds for the final 5 minutes and 12 seconds of this showdown.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
35-0 here in Highland for the Scotties season finale in the football scene, but in the men's basketball capacity, the Highland men's basketball team with about 4.5 minutes left to go in their game today, this afternoon, lead at 97-62 over Link-Year Prep. So the Scotties look like they might be on their way to their second win on the hoop scene in the men's basketball team after falling yesterday in another tight ball game, single-digit differential in all of the losses for the Scotties men's basketball team this year. Just like the football team, lost a lot of games by single digits as well. Highland will down that right around midfield, and Ellsworth takes over with just a little over 5 minutes left to go in the ball game. Scotty's defense wanting to continue to make sure that Ellsworth doesn't visit the end zone in this one, hoping to ultimately get the victory. By the way, Garden City wins today over Fort Scott, 69-0. Not close. Into the third quarter at Dodge City. Hutchison's up on Dodge City 20-0. Butler and Iowa Central leading in this, playing each other. We'll give you a score update on that in a minute as the pass is complete. And Schumann hauls it in over to the near sideline, intended for Savion Johnson, who hauls it in around the 45. Iowa Central, the opponent for Butler today, and Iowa Central leads Butler 7-0, and it's dwindling down with about 1:30 to go in that game. Bit of a surprise, obviously, for that one. And here's a handoff for Ellsworth.
Ball carried by number 17,
Stephen Ogletree.
Making a stop 34,
DeAndre Peterson in on that tackle. So again, a surprising score. Iowa Central scores a touchdown that was called back, but ball's at the 19-yard line with a 1:31 left to go in that game. 7-0 Iowa Central. Pass is complete on the far sideline, hauled in by Johnson again. Gets close to the first down and looks to be a chain mover that time by Johnson. 4:23 to go. Ellsworth driving with Schumann at quarterback. Ogletree again in the backfield, gets the handoff, and he's gobbled up quickly, though, and met immediately that time. Brought down on the hands of Mose Hall. Mose Hall bringing down Ogletree. Under 4 minutes now to play. 35-0. Highland going to be the victors in this one. Now the question is if they can just keep Ellsworth out of the end zone and preserve the shutout. Highland will finish off the year 4-6. Schumann takes a big hit and he gets the pass off. And Thornton was the intended target, but Schumann took a vicious lick that time. Jaquiz Washington. Washington had a sack earlier in the ball game. Comes up with a big hit on Schumann that time. 3:37 after the incompletion on the clock. Trip receivers to the near side. The back continues to be Ogletree now. One lone receiver split out to the far side. 3rd down and 10. And they'll hand it off to Ogletree straight up the middle. Barrels down and gets upended. And brought down by multiple guys in the backfield. Malik Chapman coming in at linebacker. Getting some playing time late.
4th and 6 for the Panthers.
4-yard gain by Ogletree sets up 4th down. So another 4th down presented for Ellsworth. And an opportunity for Highland if you can get the ball back here to run the final minutes off the clock perhaps and preserve that shutout. Schumann going to go to pass, and that one almost intercepted as it was broken up by Demarion Williams. Williams breaking that pass up, and 4th down conversion unsuccessful. And turnover on downs again.
On the offense, number 65. Penalties decline. 1st down.
That was a penalty flag. I didn't even see it. But ineligible downfield on Ellsworth. Penalty decline. They'll take the play and an incomplete pass. So Highland takes over on downs again. Another 4th down conversion unsuccessful for Ellsworth. And that's been a trend over the course of this ball game. Don't forget, we'll have post-game coming up on the Scotty Sports Network. And don't forget, you can also watch this back. Rainbow Communications shooting the video today. RainbowTel.net for more details on when you can watch the rebroadcast of today's Highland Community College football victory. Will be that after 2 minutes, 58 seconds of gameplay left to go. Tristan Spear back in at quarterback. Highland takes over around the 22. High snap and handoff and wrapped up quickly. Nothing doing for Kevin Johnson out of the backfield. Johnson brought down quickly that time. Liam Smith, who's been all over the field defensively for Ellsworth, brings him down. Scotty's with 364 yards of offense. You can turn out a little bit more. They can have their best rushing game of the year today. You had to get a first down or two to accomplish that feat, but 2:20 and counting, letting the play clock dwindle down. This is all the way down to 5 seconds before Spear calls for the snap. Johnson now gets some open space on the near side, spins away from the defender, and a nice juke move there by Johnson, spinning his way to the 30-yard line. And that brings up third down. So third and about 3.
Makes it 3rd and 3 for the Scotties.
For Johnson and the Scotties. We go under 2 minutes left to play in the game. We'll have a little wrap-up of the statistics after this. We'll take a short break, of course, wrap up the final stats and numbers on this game, and then we'll head into the post-game as well with head coach Aaron Arnold and a few players. Spear back in the shotgun again with 1:35 to play. Here's Johnson getting the handoff once more, carrying a guy with him, and he gets stuck up top. Had a guy in Brandon Wade on his hip, and Johnson gets back to the original line of scrimmage, brings up fourth down. So 4th and 3, clock at 1:20. They can take another 25 seconds or so off the clock here as the play clock continues to dwindle down before they have to do anything at that point. 35-0 lead for Highland. Looking to just preserve this one in the win column for themselves and finish the year 4-6. 5 seconds to work with, and now I'm going to see timeout by Ellsworth before the play clock dwindled down all the way. And 49 seconds left to play in the contest. 4th down from the 30. But Highland's going to win it for their 4th win of the season. 4-6 they finished this year. Obviously not exactly what they wanted to have happen, but close ball games, just bounces of the ball did not go their way over the course of the year. But today, the bounces of the ball do go the way of the Highland Scotties, and they are going to be victorious. They lead at 35-0 at this point. First 2 drives of the game, well, we'll had 2 touchdowns ultimately. And then we saw in the first 2 drives of the second half be 2 touchdowns as well. And then an 85-yard punt return score by Demarion Williams. That highlighted things for the Scotties here today too. Jeremiah Hill with 8 tackles today. Going to finish second all-time in Scotty history in the tackles. Kendrick Caddis in the top 10 all-time tackle-wise for the Scotties. Offensively, we'll give you some numbers as well today. Tristan Spear getting the start, goes 7 of 10 for 56 yards and a touchdown. Lane Spiker will kick this one away, and it's kicked close to around the 50-yard line, but kind of off the right side of his foot. Not exactly the proper hit on that play. D.D. Hall spearheading the rushing performance tonight for the Scotties. It looks like it's going to finish with about 317 yards rushing. D.D. on the night, 161 on 17 carries. Average 9.5 yards per carry. Justin Ruiz, 6 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. Narcus Driver, a touchdown on 12 carries for 59 total yards. Highland men's basketball team gets their second win of the year. They just went final there, 104-64. So the Highland men's basketball team also victorious here today. So good day for the Scotties all around. getting a win on the gridiron on the basketball court. Fumbled snap, and Highland might actually come up with it. Scotty's going to recover the fumble, and Amadou Fofana gets the fumble recovery, and he's going to get penalized for a celebration with the ball. But it doesn't matter because Highland's going to win, and they wanted to have a little fun with it, Bear, and I understand the penalty, but it will be an unsportsmanlike penalty on Amadou.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 43. 15 yards from dead ball spot, first down Highland.
So Scotties will have it, but penalty be marked off in that situation. So Scotties recover the fumble. Amadou getting the fumble recovery. Great year for him overall. I believe that's his second fumble recovery of the season. But he came into today with near 40 tackles, also 3.5 sacks. Put together a solid day today, too. And he's got potential to play at the next level for sure. Not sure if he's signed anywhere quite yet, but he definitely has offers to play. My man Big Al saying Buffalo and New Mexico. He's got some offers for Fofana to play next year. A lot of the guys got some offers too, and kneel down by Tristan Spear will perhaps get there. Lauren Young with the offer from Missouri State. Several other guys I know have offers as well, and hopefully more to come for a few of the other sophomores that are going to move on from this Scotty program. But the Scotty's going to end this year with a victory, 35-0 routing fashion win over Ellsworth. They jumped out early and only got a couple more scores in the second half to preserve the 35-0 victory. Nice shutout by the defense and solid performance all around for the Scotties to wrap up this campaign. Not the way they wanted to have the season unfold, but they did get the victory here, 35-0. So 35-0, Highland is victorious in this showdown. We'll have the post-game wrap-up and look at the statistics when we come back here on the Scotty Sports Network.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a four-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Well, we wrap it up, and we wrap up the season as well for Highland Community College football as they win it 35-0 over Ellsworth in the season finale. And we'll say thank you to the sophomores one final time in a moment. But, of course, Highland Community College will finish off the football season 4-6 with a 35-0 rout of Ellsworth today. It opened up with a solid start for the Scotties offensively in this contest. Defensively, they forced a quick punt, but a fake punt led to Ellsworth getting into Scotty territory, and then they forced the interception. Highland does, one of 2 turnovers that Highland's defense garnered here in this showdown. But that turnover led to an opening scoring drive by Highland. A 62-yard run by D.D. Hall was the first offensive play for the Scotties in this victory. Then they would have a 20-yard touchdown pass by Tristan Spear to Shaquem Bradley. PAT good. It was 7-0 with 9:41 remaining in the first quarter of action. Next time the offense touched the ball for Highland as well, they visited the end zone too. Justin Ruiz, a 35-yard touchdown run, extra point good, 14-0. It would remain 14-0 headed into halftime. Both teams had some offensive opportunities after the 14 points scored by Highland, but neither would visit the end zone. In Ellsworth case, they would never get any points on the board as they had 4th down opportunities, but Highland's defense was stout, limiting them to 1 of 6 conversions on 4th down. In the second half, the opening drive of the second half, it would be Highland receiving the kick there after selecting to defer, and they would march down the field and get a 14-yard touchdown run from Narkit's driver, who played a little quarterback along with Tristan Spear today. PAT good, 21-0 with 11:35 to go in the third quarter. They would get on the board again in the next offensive drive of the second half, and it would be a Trey Willis 14-yard touchdown run. Short field after a 4th and 1 was unsuccessful by Ellsworth, and it was 28-0 at that point. The only other score of the game came in the fourth quarter, just into the fourth quarter barely, as Demarion Williams busted off an 85-yard punt return for a score, and the extra point added on top of that made it 35-0. The Scotties made the shutout hold serve and win the 35-0 score over Ellsworth in the regular season finale. Diving into the statistics, 59 plays, 372 yards for Highland today, 316 of those 372 on the ground, 56 yards passing on 7 of 11 completions. And for the Ellsworth Panthers, they had 66 plays ran today for 195 yards of offense. They had 124 in the air on 12 of 32, and they also had, of course, 71 yards rushing on the day themselves as well. Two turnovers for Ellsworth, 1 fumble and 1 interception. Highland lost a fumble as well on a situation on the kick, but that was a punt. That was a free, or the live ball, they said, that went off of a Scotty in that play. Third down conversions, 5 of 14 for Highland, only 1 of 15 for Ellsworth, and 1 of 6 from on the 4th down conversion scene for Ellsworth in this season. For Ellsworth, they had 83 yards passing from their starting quarterback, Jake Schumann, 8 of 24. Paris Chambers was 3 of 7 for 13. And Austin Nealon, the punter, had that toss for 28 yards on the fake punt. And on the receiving capacity, Ben Rooney, 3 catches for 42, led Ellsworth in that. On the rushing scene, it was Doc Combs with 49 yards on 16 carries here today. For Highland, Tristan Spear, 7 of 10 passing for 56 yards and a touchdown, as Stephen Delane caught a pass for 16 yards, 3 catches for 16 for Trey Willis. Shaquem Bradley, 2 catches for 15, including a touchdown. Also, 1 catch for 9 yards for Cody Summers today. Rushing-wise, the Scotties were led there on the offensive end by D.D. Hall, 161 on the ground for Hall on 17 carries. Justin Ruiz, 6 carries for 65 and a touchdown. Narkis Driver, 12 carries on the day for 59 and a touchdown. Trey Willis had 3 carries for 15 and a touchdown. And Kevin Johnson, 4 carries for 13 yards. Shaquem Bradley, 2 carries for 10 for the Scotties on the offensive scene. For the defense for today, Ellsworth was led by an 8-tackle performance by Worthen, 7 for Smith and Gerst as well, and a sack by Scrunchins. And for Highland, 8 tackles by Jeremiah Hill, including a couple of tackles for loss on the day. Also, Demarion Williams with 7 tackles, 6 tackles for Fofana, and Kendrick Caddis with 5, Rico Hanna with 5 tackles too. Hanna and Washington each with a sack on their own. Hill and Fofana with a half a sack for today. Interception garnered by Jonathan Thompson, and a fumble recovery by Fofana as well here today too for some of the highlights defensively for this one. Scotties wrap up their season in the 2017 campaign with a 35-0 victory at home against Ellsworth. One final thank you to all of the sophomores. I'm going to give them all another shout out here from this team for all they contributed to the Highland football program over the course of their career. Stephen Delane, Shay Crum, also Hunter Port, Willie Jordan, Kyle Kearns, Tristan Spear, Jeremiah Hill, Ronnie Jameson, Michael Davis Jr., Torrey Boone, Casey Fye, also Tariq Parkings, Javon Jones, Trey Barrett, Kendrick Caddis, Dominic Williams, Amadou Fofana, William Solomon, Isaiah Gray, Cody Summers, and Mose Hall, all the sophomores on the football team. Thanks to them and all they provided to this Scotty football program. The Scotties will wrap up the 2017 football season with a 4-6 record and a 35-0 victory over Ellsworth. We'll have postgame coming up on Scotty Sports Network with head coach Aaron Arnold and a few select players, so stay tuned for that. That's coming up in just a bit. Thanks to Rainbow Communications crew, as always, as of course they came out to film the contest here today. Check out rainbowhotel.net for when this broadcast will re-air on Rainbow Communications. My man Big Al doing a great job as always to help out, and Allison Cole and Tyler Nordman doing a great job as well with all they do to make sure that the game festivities get underway smoothly here at Highland Community College. But that's going to do it for the football season as the Scotties are victorious in the regular season finale, 35-0. Highland gets the win over Ellsworth. Thanks for watching and listening on the Scotty Sports Network.